Good evening, friends. Hope you are ready to hang out and do more of the Hat Trick Challenge. We finished with Tethys yesterday, which was honestly way easier than I was expecting it to be. In no small part because of the cooperation of Pyroclasm. Delicious, wonderful Pyroclasm. That said, we've started on Penumbra. We did Glutton, which was a little sketchy. Not too bad. But now we gotta do the other two and somehow make that work. How you doing, Glacier? How you doing, Boomtech? How many Pyroclasms were in the deck? I think 9. It was 8 or 9. And 3 Gifts for a Guard, so we could spam out a bunch of spells on turn 1, too. Monstrous probably will have the easiest time. So, kind of. Because I can't devote too many resources to Monstrous, and Monstrous' stats are overall, like, not that great. Especially if we end up going against Savagery. If we end up going against, like, Entropy, it's not a big deal. Dominion's a little bit of a problem because of the reanimate enemies. Though there are ways around that, especially with Under Legion and their ability to give decay. But, like, if we go up against Savagery, 250 base attack doesn't even do... It does about half of one of the heavies. And when waves are going to start looking like, you know, 2 500 HP heavies and an Amalgam, which is another 300, like 60 HP or whatever, that's not a lot. It's not a lot. It is definitely possible for us to make Monstrous work, but it's really kind of dependent on what I'm offered. Obviously, like, I could just use other Under Legion stuff, but one of the stipulations of this challenge is that, like, my champion does have to contribute, which means I do need to actually be using Monstrous Penumbra in some way. Under Legion can't buff Monstrous into a monster in some clans. I mean, most clans are going to struggle to make Monstrous Penumbra really meaningful, because it's a bad and boring and dumb pathway. But, yes, Under Legion is not the best clan for Monstrous. That said, we do have some tools. There are definitely some ways we can make Monstrous work. Like, a good Shroud Spike could potentially do it. I ideally am going to be able to use Pyre of Savagery with Monstrous, and then we can get some permanent scaling. We could even also maybe hit Bloodthirsty Blade. Ideally, the main thing is we want to be able to hit, like, Void Binding and Furnace Tap, so we can get offensive and defensive scaling in one and multi-strike. Or at the very least, Furnace Tap, because I can sort of solve defense other ways. But, yeah. Yeah. Anyways, that said, so we used up some things. The main important thing that we used up was Spore Launcher. Infectory is also a bit of a loss, so is Glutton's Moth, but definitely got to give Penumbra Iron Tongue. Will help out a lot, definitely, yeah, sure enough. Okay, that said, so the problem is this. We need to we're either going to play Architect or we're going to play Monstrous. We don't know which one's going to show up, though. And I really would prefer to use Pyre of Savagery for Monstrous. We could take it right now and hope on the 50-50. But if it doesn't show, then that's real bad. I think I still probably take Pyre of Savagery, but it's also very possible that it's going to be disappointing. Anyways, I think that's what we're doing, and we hope to see Monstrous and just go from there. Okay, Puffball's not bad. Green Recruit, I want to say used, but I think I'm thinking of the wrong run. Yeah, I'm thinking of when we had Bullet. Yeah, so we haven't used that yet. And Pack Morsels we have used, but here it is. And we are up against Savagery, which is not what I wanted to hear. Okay, so I can choose either. Admittedly, I should maybe probably take Architect here. I'm still going to take Monsters, but there is definitely the possibility of things going somewhat catastrophically wrong. But we're going to do that. Purzles would have been a decent middle ground since a good amount of Umbrella's units. I assume that's supposed to be Under Legion. Or Umbra. Units cost a bit. And yeah, so like, Urzel's Horde is quite good, and that's probably the one I'm using for Architect if we make it through this. But I do really want the extra attack power if I can do it. Do I care about Deepwood Oil? Kind of. Why must phones autocorrect get worse every time? I just don't use autocorrect. But I know I'm rare in that way. I guess I take Purified Soul Shard, though I think it mostly is worthless for me. Okay. So I think what we're doing is we're just playing it out like that. Yeah, this is the problem, though. Alright, let's get some damage on you. Because the point is that we're trying to get you low enough that Penumbra can trample over you. Okay. Not quite enough. And unfortunately, you're gonna kill the dude. Oh well. Doing what we can. Yep, not exactly what I wanted, but hey, we're doing what we can. I'm gonna kill that just so that it can't steal more kills. Which is a bit questionable, but hey. I was really hoping for a lifesteal morsel, but I'll do that. Unfortunately, he's getting pretty low. I haven't been giving him the best morsels. Well, fuck me. What? Last week my phone suggested Goebbels as a correction to expansion tank. What the fuck? Yeah, so this is a problem. Yeah, because at this rate, you're going to die before you get a chance, even if I give you a lifesteal morsel. So, we'll do it this way, so you at least get to kill a couple things. Pretty confident I still won on top floor, so it's not ideal, but that's fine. You got a couple more kills, that's the main thing. And then Puffball just absolutely slaps. Of course you get lifesteal, morsel at the moment, doesn't matter. Yeah, I didn't do the math, but I was kind of hoping that it would be enough. But it wasn't, unsurprisingly. Okay, so I think we want Immortal Trait here. That said, Prismal Dust is very good, especially since it gives us, like, damage shields, so then we can propagate those. But Immortal Trade does a lot of work for us right now. Even with the Ember Drain, even if I don't get away around the Ember Drain, it is just pretty good for me. Don't need another green recruit. Gooey Flask is not a major concern right now. Rot, I think we're going to skip, though it is a good card. Or at least decent card. What I really want is that Merchant of Arms. I don't really have anything I'm wild about here, other than maybe like holdover or permafrost on the immortal trade. As far as the merchant magic goes, I lean towards going here and just look for like large stone titanite or like titanite endless for him. Well, there's titanite endless. Okay. Okay, I think we're doing Endless Titanite on you. It just gives me... It gives me some outs. I didn't really want to spend quite all of that gold, but here we are. And so you have 60 attack now. I maybe shouldn't be putting you there, but we're going to try this for a moment to see how it looks. Yeah, this is more or less what I thought was going to be the case. But there we go. Unfortunately, I can't feed morsels to Penumbra because he's bad. But it did help out. Although then here I don't have enough, which is disappointing. I was sort of tempted to just redo this with Penumbra on mid-floor. And you know what? I think that's what we're going to do. That's what I was originally planning, and then I don't know, changed my mind. But let's do this the way I'd originally wanted to do things. He's not bad, just big bones. Yeah, sure. We're going to do that one, even though I do want you to have extra HP. But the main thing is I want you to have extra attack. Because that is the problem, is I'm not hitting the thresholds that I want. Oh, and I didn't kill the collector because I wasn't paying attention. I actually kind of need that collector, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, well, not having the collector does scare me. God, are you shitting me? I was like, I will probably get a morsel or the green recruit so I can protect him right here. But nope. Why would that be the case? Alright. Fine. God. Well, he's still getting some slays, which is the main thing we need, but... And like, I could have protected him last turn, I just didn't think I needed to. Ugh. Dumb. Ember and Puffball will save you. I mean, Puffball is gonna win it for me. Like, pretty handily, Puffball is real solid. Hubris. But that's jank for you. Yeah, pretty much. Alright. We're taking the perils. Kinda want the proliferate. Definitely am not taking the pandemic. It's just a matter of whether I want the proliferate or the glow up. And the answer is sort of yes. Glow up to advance enemies, bring the squishies up front. That doesn't totally help us. I think we're gonna take glow up here. Okay, now I can't take Glutton's Maw. Meat Shield is pretty decent on Puffball, kind of, but we're just not gonna worry about that. That's not what I was hoping for. Weapons cache isn't terrible to take right now, though. Well, that's interesting, but not particularly helpful. Stasis for Puffball is funny. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, I kind of want to do this. I don't think I really am going to, but I could, like, I don't know. I think we're just doing this to get rid of some things. Yeah, I think that's just what we're doing, is we're getting rid of those. In a different world, I might have considered using it to, like, put on the same floor as Penumbra to give him support units, but we didn't have any units that I really wanted to give him support for. So yeah, I do agree that Stasis Crystal is not, like, bad on Puffball, especially because any stats that he gains from this would be preserved past dying, since he has Endless. I sort of want to take Weapons Cache. Just because I can take the Weapons Cache now and make it deployable, and so then I will be future-proofed against, like, getting more equipment. Because, like, I'm going to go here. Because I want to try to get holdover on the perils and other things and yada 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 yada. Fine, I'll do it. I'm not, like, totally in love with that, but okay. Yeah, it's Fire Hunter, that's fine. Ish. I mean, I don't have any equipment, so this is a moot point. Actually, probably should have not played you up front. I did it because I don't care, but I actually probably should care. I just really wish that the Jack-in-the-Box was... what's the word I'm looking for? That you could... That it was deterministic, that you could tell which order it was going to spit things back out in. That is what I wish. Let's actually give you the life, which I could have blocked, but it doesn't matter. You've got life steal. You're just going to heal back up anyways. And then let's give you more life steal. And you, my buddy, can have some decay, though I should have given that to you. Because Penumbra's not actually going to kill things here, and that is the whole thing we want. Which is a shame, and I could have sort of prevented that. Well, alright, he takes some damage, but he doesn't die. He has a little bit more HP than before. Puffball's gonna go on a murder spree a little bit. Okay, so you're gonna get a kill here. Unfortunately, we've kind of stalled out on the whole getting kills to Penumbra situation, which is not ideal. But at least he's not dead. At least he's doing something. Even if I really did not hit all of the things I was hoping for. Okay. So currently you have 13, and so you were effectively looking at what? 91 HP. So even if I do that, it's not gonna change it. No surprise. And then I guess we're just gonna do that one. I don't know. Here we are. At least Penumbra isn't Shadow Siege. I mean, that's a low bar right there. I do kind of wish that Penumbra was on top floor, but then I wouldn't have the puffball, and I kind of think it's important to have the puffball. I mean, I could, I suppose, have done differently, but I don't know. God, you're not going to die to Penumbra either. Ugh. Yeah, maybe I should have had Penumbra on top floor. Okay, well, at least Penumbra gets these kills. I mean, like, hopefully soon we can get Penumbra other damage scaling rather than just the Pyre of Savagery. So I can't take Glutton's Maw. We are not taking Racking Pain. We are not taking Deadly Variant. Unfortunately, not what we wanted to see. Can't take Crucible Collector. Doesn't matter, I don't want any of these. Great question. So currently I'm using 3, essentially. Space, yeah, fair point. I probably need to take that. In the ideal world, we would hit Crucible Extension so that we could get extra capacity that way. Or, at the very least, I would get like Steward's Quarters just to give a little bit of extra capacity. But yeah, I think we have to take capacity. I really want to take Draw, but we'll take this, and that's what we got. So we're going here. We're looking for holdover. We're looking for good equipment. We're looking for other things. At least he's gotten a little bit of extra attack. Okay. Two Penumbra for the puffball. Which one are you thinking for the puffball? Kind of want to do Hollow Mirrors, but I don't think it's actually a good choice for me. Equalizing Rings. Yeah, it's not that impressive on puffball. It doesn't actually have like that high of attack, and I don't really care about it having attack. That's not the point of puffball. Hollow Mirrors is interesting. I don't know that it's really going to do what I need it to do, though. I think we're also sort of better served by waiting for... like, if we can get this on Architect Penumbra, that is actually pretty cute. But we'll see what we can do. I'm going to skip, and we're just going to see how bad things go. I would like the Spell Chain. We're not taking the Spell Chain, because I don't have enough for it. I am going to do this just as a safety thing. I kind of want that Permafrost. That's not what we were hoping for. Is there a use case for Iron Tongue? Can you scale health with Strike? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yeah, and then we don't have what I want. We're gonna go here. And then we're gonna go here, probably. Merchant of Arms is also appealing, though. Yeah, I don't know. Iron Tongue only really scales with multi-strike / Pyre Gel. Kind of. Yeah, God, my deck just does not have a lot going for it. Oh, I missed your comment. Where was that? Is there a use case for Iron Tongue? Oh, no. I mean, what is the use for an item that gives sweep on a unit that then can't scale attack, right? Ah, gotcha. So, I thought you meant, like, is there a use case for it in this run specifically? There are definitely use cases for it. It is okay. Some people think it's super mega busted, but it's not. It is pretty solidly, like, okay tier. It serves a purpose, and it does that purpose pretty decently, but is not overpowered. The main thing is that it gives you backline access, but also there are a number of units that can use it fairly interestingly. Like in one of the hat trick runs, we used it on Tethys as a way to give Chillwind sweep. Normally, you could do something similar by just taking like 2 ranks of Chillwind and taking 1 rank of Handheld Totem. But you do, you know, twice as much Frostbite with the rank 3 of Chillwind. So we did that, and the Tethys did end up being basically all of our damage output for that run, which was cute. But also, there are units like Magma Mauler, I kept wanting to say Magma Morsel, and that's the wrong thing, who does Pyrogel 8 on strike, which is pretty decent. Puts his attack up to 30, so it is straight an attack buff on him, while also giving, you know, Pyrogel to the whole floor, takes up backliners, especially if you have a way to give him quick as well. Yada yada yada. There's a lot of things you can do with it. It ends up being pretty okay. Like, it's a solid card, it has some good use cases, it is not like a snap pick, take it every time it shows up. It is not super mega busted. There's plenty of other ways to deal with backliners. I think, in general, people make too big a fuss over backline access, basically. Like, people get really scared about backline access, partly just because of things like the sweepers and savagery, where they act like, oh, you absolutely have to kill it before it attacks, otherwise you just lose. Where that's not really the case. There's a lot of ways to, like, just daze those units, or, like, put defenses on your own units, or do any number of other things. Like, there's a lot of ways around backliners, and you don't need sweep to be your answer. But it's decent. It's solid. Anyways, I don't remember what the waves look like here, so we're just going to assume that they don't have haste. They do not. So, Penumbra does get to murder this guy. Is then not going to be strong enough to kill you, unfortunately. Because you're just not as strong as I desire. I wish I had better just, like, targeted damage so I could get a little bit of damage on enemies first. Well, that gets us a little bit of the way there. Unfortunately, the dude eats the morsel, and I probably should have just done this differently. No, that's still not enough. Trying to get, you know, trying to get fancy here, and it's not working out. I should just be buffing Penumbra. I also don't know why I didn't give you the other Magma Morsels. Whatever. Here we are. forget that this thing says pop goes the weasel when it spits something out. Yeah, unfortunately, this doesn't really help. Penumbra is missing out on so many kills just because I can't pop the frontliners. I really should have done this differently. Maybe a redo. I was considering it just because I'm missing out on so much. Like, I think I can win, but it is so disappointing. Like, I don't know exactly what I changed. Like, I could put the puffball on a lower floor. Oof. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, they're gonna murder. Like, I do think I die, but I'm just gonna see how it is anyways. I mean, you do have a bunch of lifesteal. As long as you don't die in a single wave, you just win. And he does do that, so I guess I'll leave it. Like, if I could just get, like, multi-strike, or just a little better scaling, we could stay ahead of the curve, and then Penumbra would be able to sweep whole waves for us. There's Furnace Tap. Mushy Room is honestly not bad for us. Kind of. I don't think it's super necessary later, though. Mushroom on bottom floor and you set up on mid or top. Yeah, that would be the plan. Mushroom is never a bad card. Not entirely true. Like, when you are relying on enemies attacking into a revenge unit, for instance, it is bad to sap them to oblivion. But also, it's mostly an issue of opportunity cost with Mushy Room. It's a good card, but given that you have a limited floor, you know, limited room slots is the word I'm looking for. It is often going to be better to have somebody else in one of those rooms, and then also you have to factor in, like, especially deployment costs is the big thing. I never thought I'd see this day. Sal praise for Crucible extension. Do you want it for the next run? I mean, it's not bad on the next run. It's also not as good here, since in the ideal world, we're going to be setting up on bottom floor versus the Savagery waves anyways. But, like, it's okay. I'm already devoting a lot of deployment Ember to things, but we could potentially take Ember at the next upgrade. I would ideally like draw, though. But we'll see how things go. We're gonna go here. Whatever. Mushroom is just a mid card. It's really unreliable. Only does something if you're leaking or setting up high. I wouldn't say it's unreliable. I'd say it's an okay card. Certainly not like an S tier card, but it's not a bad card. And it is still reasonable to be setting up on a higher floor in a lot of ways, or at least have it split between like a bottom floor presence and a higher presence. And also just like having Mushroom on top floor to catch any like leaked heavies and just sap them is also pretty decent. Anyways, all that said, pretty sure we're not taking it. I do kind of want it, but I don't think it actually solves problems that I need solved. It's not enough sap to shut down a significant number of attacks, makes it unreliable in my opinion. Yes and no. Because you can also just like set it up on both bottom floor and mid floor if that is your like really necessary defense plan. And that ends up effectively being 5 sap going into top floor, which is minus 10 attack to every enemy. That's not bad. Plus, just getting a little bit of sap on them also means that you can then propagate the sap, which there are multiple ways to, propagate the enemy team. And that's really impactful. That's 2 copies. Yeah, but it's not hard to get 2 copies. Once you have 1 copy in your deck, you can then dupe it later in the run. Like, it's not the argument. How do I want to phrase this? Essentially just saying, like, it's only good if you're having multiple copies of it. That applies to a lot of things in the game. Like, I don't think that's a huge qualifier on the strength of the card. Anyways, we're going here. Wing technology is cute. Fossilized Phalanx does nothing for us because it's specifically Gorge triggers. It's not just, like, double the effects of morsels. I do like wing technology. Don't think it's what we're doing. Do I want Grow Room? Kind of. I think not, though. And I don't want Exile's Diadem. Like, it's kind of cute, but it's not really solving my problems. It's Iron Tongue common. It's technically uncommon, but there's not really any common equipment. Like, there's a couple, but they're basically all clan specific. And so, like, going into a Merchant of Arms, I'm blanking on how it is right now. I feel like you don't see common equipment in the Merchant of Arms. I feel like it's just uncommon, and rare, but I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've actually paid attention to these things. I think maybe that's wrong. Either way, doesn't matter. There's not many common equipment is mostly the answer. Yeah, we're skipping this, I think. Grow Room is sort of appealing, but I don't think it's impactful enough. Well, with Chain of Gems, it would have been. Refined Void is also appealing to me, but we're gonna do this. You can definitely find common ones in the merchant scene, Potion, Bell, Lumco in there a lot. Sounds good. I'm clearly misremembering then. You don't say. This is a dangerous plan, but it is the plan we're doing. We do have problems to overcome. Yeah, and weapons cache still doesn't do anything for me. Okay, so here's the deal. We're going to do that. And I kind of just want to not play out any of these. I think I'm okay with doing that just to get them out of the deck. And that costs 2. Okay. Okay, I'm glad that we can propagate that. I do wish that I'd gotten a better morsel for this. Like, I could put you down to block. I don't really want to, though, for a lot of reasons. But I do also really wish that, yeah, well, I was hoping that I would get things in better ways, but here we are. Oh, I keep forgetting that I have Chain of Gems. Yeah, it doesn't really affect me right now, unfortunately. Yeah, the problem is that we're also drawing the Anthropic Crystal this turn, which does mean that I don't get to play spells for the rest of the fight. We are going to block just because I don't want him to lose too much HP. Because I can't play anything for the rest of the fight. Because now the perils cost 1, which means I can't play that out. Oh, I did forget that we're up against you. Which does mean this isn't gonna work. Yeah, if I had more lifesteal, this would be fine. But the fact that I don't means that we're super fucked doing that. Okay. So that's a problem. No surprise. Is Twitch being super twitchy to anyone else? Not on my end, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. See, triple tap is hilarious. Yeah, it's something. I'm pretty sure I can't do this, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, this is not the turn we actually want all these things. I actually would have liked to have given you more lifesteal, but hey. Yeah, the Entropic Crystal really fucks us. I mean, when Penumbra dies, I can start playing things again. Kind of. Yeah, there we go. God, this is a mess. Well, here we are. Well, there's Crucible Extension. Which you don't really need anymore. Oh god. Well, we are skipping these, I guess. Okay, we're gonna take Grow Room now. God, we have a mess. So in the ideal world, we hit Holdover and Intrinsic. And if we don't hit that, life gets a lot worse. Well, that is worse. I can do this at least, which I think is what we do next. Okay. Oh, God. Dupe and play both at the same time, Prophet? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is one of the options. Okay. Let's remove a couple things. Well, we can cast both of them on the same turn because they have Permafrost. Do we ever put Puffle in front of tank for Penumbra? Kind of, that's possible. The main thing that we really want now is we want Quick Dagger or Quick Tome for Penumbra. I mean, there's a lot of other things I want, but like that solves one of my greatest issues. Fine, I will do this. Cinder's Salve would also be an incredible pickup for us. Oh, that's less helpful than I want it to be. Yeah, it didn't occur to me that I had the glow up. God, you're just not quite strong enough yet. Whatever. Yeah, I'd also thought about putting Permafrost on the Perils so we could avoid the inevitable despair. Unfortunately, you giving damage shields is really bad. Also, I kind of want you to die, but I can't, like, buff the enemies, so... So if you died, I could then replay you, which would be nice. Yeah, these are the issues we face, aren't they? God, you're gonna do a lot of damage to me if left to be. Well, it's not gonna be that much since Fire Savagery does a fair bit, but still not what I wanted. Sad Pirate Savagery doesn't boost its own attack on Slay. Yeah, people have suggested that, which would be kind of cute. Now, I've taken a lot of damage on this fight. Also, I kind of want you to just come back down to bottom floor, my dude. Well, we do win the battle. So that's something. I mean, I do kind of want you, but not really anymore. Tome of Evergrowth is cool, but again, I don't think it really is what we need right now, so... yeah, I guess we're gonna take the draw. Would be good to build into. Absolutely not, aside from maybe Stygian, but would be funny. I mean, there are ways you could build into it. Like, it would be fun. I don't think it would be overpowered. Especially if they shaved off a little bit of the Pyre's HP to compensate. Which I don't know if they would do, but, you know, they could. Those are not what I want to see, once again. I'll take the meat shield just because it's free for me right now. It's really not what I want, though. Okay. Like, I'm not surprised, but I am disappointed. And again, this wouldn't be so bad if I wasn't trying to force a terrible build. But I am. I am, in fact, trying to force a terrible build. Okay, so you will block for him. And then we're going to go full on shenanigans. There's not really any downside to doing that right now. And maybe I still end up with a little bit of lifesteal in the long run. Why skip glow up? Could have ended with positive damage shield gain. I just didn't think about it correctly. I was thinking that I would have had to have him end in front, which I didn't want. But I could have also moved him in front and then moved the other one back in front. Anyways, yeah, it was just a mistake. That was all. Okay, we can get rid of that, so that's something. I probably should have put Permafrost on the Perils, because I think that was in the shop at the right time, and I totally spaced. But at least we get to stop things for the moment. Unfortunately, they didn't end with any damage shields on them, so that doesn't get propagated. Unsurprisingly, finally draw to a point where I then can no longer play cards for the rest of the battle. And you do have Corruption on you, so we are starting to lose damage shields. Yeah, unfortunately, we no longer have damage shields. But we do have enough to kill Rax and his friends, and that is truly the mark of success as far as I'm concerned. Alright, that's something. This plan does fall apart against the Titans. God, why is Emberforge just not a good card? Like, all they need to do is give this a way to bypass Ember Drain. Make it generate the Ember mid-turn, make it an ability, do whatever. there are ways to make it a good card, and it just isn't one. Nope. Skipping those. So, here's where we make choices. If we go here, we're looking basically for holdover. The holdover does help quite a bit. Permafrost is also kind of an option, but holdover is by far the ideal. If I go here, I can heal, which is nice. I can dupe either the Perils, or I can dupe the Furnace Tap again, which is good. I could also look for, like, Quick Dagger for Penumbra, which would be really good for us. Also, there's the possibility that we hit Sinner Salve, which is also an out. I think I want to go to Merchant of Magic, but if we don't hit holdover, it is just a lot worse for us. But, like, it makes the Titan situation much better in a lot of ways. I think we're doing this. Not terrible for us. World Ending Strain is actually okay. Ancient Pyre Tap is another out. Okay, at least we have holdover. Fine. Ancient Pyre Tap's still interesting, but yeah. Okay, so that does make us dramatically better. Unfortunately, the weapons cache never panned out, really. That's okay. We're taking that, and then I'm making decisions. Don't think I need Pyre Tap. Don't think I need World Ending Strain. Pyre Tap is still interesting, though. I'm surprised you did not remove the weapons cache for the next run. We probably don't need an next run, and also I try not to be too cheesy as far as that goes. I typically... Yeah, I mean... Yeah. We still could remove it, but... Cleansing Water is okay, but not that important. Alright, here we go. Don't know if I actually want you on bottom floor. I think we're doing it that way, but... Yeah, unfortunately you lose the damage shields, which is a big deal. Yeah, and then you die, which isn't ideal, but fine. And now I can continually give you the Immortal Trade, which is pretty huge. Okay, and then we'll glow up on you, because you actually get the damage shields, I guess. I don't know, here we are. It doesn't matter what we play on bottom floor, because the sweep things just murder. Save the green recruit for later, I guess. I don't know. As long as he doesn't die in one round, we're in pretty decent shape. And I guess you do survive if I make sure that you're the one who gets the damage shields. And that gives you a little bit of lifesteal. And now a lot of bit of lifesteal. And you know what? Have even more lifesteal. Okay. Also, as long as on 2 separate turns, it's cute that the fungi spawn from the green recruits can also get damage shields from the chain of gems. Actually, probably shouldn't be doing that, but here we go. Okay, that was scary, because this guy with his 3 attacks and high damage was just doing too much to Penumbra, but that's fine. We survived it. I really wish that I could give him more HP, but I haven't been able to feed him morsels, so doesn't really matter. We're just gonna play those out. We don't need to play the Entropic Crystals this turn, so we're just going to mitigate how much life I'm losing. And then Penumbra's all over the place. Alright, still have to beat the Titans, but we'll see how that goes. We should be okay. Like, Penumbra, like, getting the holdover and the intrinsic so I could start with it is very good for us. Pyre of Savagery is going to do a lot of damage to the minions, so we'll kill him pretty quickly. He did end up getting quite a lot of attack from the Pyre of Savagery, by the way, because his base attack is 250. So he's gotten 153 attack over the course of the run. Used almost the entire Ember Drain pack to this run, but Monsters Penumbra seems like a win. Yeah, hopefully. I think we've got it. And yes, I was prepared to use the Ember Drain package, because we hopefully probably just don't need it for the last run. On the other hand, I haven't left myself a whole lot of offensive potential. So, it's not great. The main hope is that we get Moral Mistress and just, like, good etch support for the last run. Like, that's what we're hoping for. Okay, now hopefully we get to block for you, which we do. I'm going to start doing that, and then I guess you get that, and these just die here because I didn't really plan this part out very well, and that's fine, I don't really care. Okay. Now, luckily, we can still play out the Pyrolite, because it would be really annoying if we couldn't. I do have to take damage, but that's not that big a deal. Okay, whatever, fine. And we are preventing Savagery from hurting my Pyre, because we're just blocking with our whole bundle of garbage. You did end up with a little bit of corruption on you, which is a shame. But that's fine. Okay, entropy's almost down. I still avoid the damage from savagery with my army of morsels on top floor. Okay, we should be taking out both of these guys this turn. Yeah, I guess I'll play out the puffball and just take the damage. As long as he doesn't die, he does heal up to full. He is getting increasing corruption. Like, that is a meaningful concern. But that's okay. And I was aware that I was making these guys stronger, which is a problem, but I don't know. Also, I guess I don't have any life steal on you now, which is an issue. I kind of assumed I would, but the problem is I burn through the life steal so quickly now that I have... Because, like, it wasn't an issue before, because I always had something to hit. Or I didn't always have something to hit. So he would use up his attacks and then be fine, but because Entropy's here, he just always gets all 7 of his attacks off. Either way, doesn't fucking matter. We have the kill here. There we go. Ugh. Well, a bit stressful of a run, but we got there. Only took 26 damage on the Titans, which is fine. Whew. Now, the problem is, it's really possible that things are just not going to materialize in the last run. And Architect does not do a whole lot for us. Pyre anxiety. Yep. Oh, man. Anyways, that was a run. Penumbra did end at 417 attack. I prefer Monsters to Architect, but it should be fine. They're both bad, is the problem. The thing about Architect is that Architect is at least sort of free. And it's bad that that's the best thing that can be said about it. It's just such a boring, underwhelming champion. Like, if it at least gave capacity on all floors, that would be something. Or if it gave, like, more deployment number and more capacity. Or, like, was sort of like an Ember Forge and gave you more energy every turn that it's alive. I wouldn't love that, but it would be something that your champion does and some reason to keep it alive. Time for Under Legion roster to carry while Penumbra learns to draw at the back line. Yeah, more or less. That's what we're looking at. I have not left myself a whole lot of useful tools. Also, we have Shade Splitter as our starter card, which is a pretty terrible starter card. I know there's still plenty of people who prefer it to Plink, but I'll say it flatly, they're wrong. I don't disagree that Plink can't kill things in the late game, that like its damage falls off pretty hard by mid-game and further. I don't care in the slightest. It's done its job by then. You can get rid of your starter cards by that point in the game. But in those early rings, it does what it needs to do for you. Not sort of free, but eventually free. Yeah, that's the other problem with Architect Penumbra, is it's not even a Space Prism at the beginning. Speaking of Space Prism, I feel like I haven't seen Space Prism in forever. I assume it's still in the drop pool and didn't like get accidentally bugged out, but I just realized that I haven't seen it in a while. Regardless, that was Monstrous with Savagery. And we used Puffball, Prickly Puffball that is, which we've got plenty of space to say the full name. We use Green Recruit, which is not too big of a loss for us right now because we've already used up some of the main things that we would want to use it with. And also you can certainly get by without using Green Recruit anyways. And then technically we used up... What is that even called? Jack in the Box. It just straight up called Jack in the Box. For some reason I thought it had some other name, but it goes to show how much I pay attention to that card. And I think that was all of the units. On to the spells. We used Immortal Trade. Packed Morsels is already on here because we had that in the prior run. We just didn't draft it. It was just one of the starter cards we never removed. And then Perils of Production. Glow Up, which is another sad one to lose. But it was important. It did good work for us. And then Furnace Tap. And I think that's all the spells. And then we had Weapons Cache. Grow Room. And then it should just be Meat Shield as the last thing, I think. Feels bad that one of the main strats I've heard about using Architects to kill Penumbra as fast as possible feels odd on Fade Run. So, I don't mind that being, like, an option. Like, I think it's kind of cool tech that you can, like, put Penumbra down and then use, like, Cannibalize to turn him into something. Like, that's kind of interesting, but the problem is that there's nothing else to Architect Penumbra beyond that. And technically you can also, like, kill Penumbra, reform Penumbra, replay Penumbra, or like otherwise give Penumbra endless, whatever. But again, there's like a pretty hefty limit to what you can do with that capacity. Because, like, Umbra doesn't even have units like Kinhost Carapace. Not Carapace. Is it Carapace? Yes, Kinhost Carapace, not Vessel. That like grows in size like Wormkin has. Like, yes, they've got Shadow Siege, but it's a rare, and that doesn't super help the situation either way. But yeah, you're still capped at 7 units. Like, so it doesn't matter if you generate like 30 capacity. You can't play out all that many units more than you would be able to anyways. Anyways, moving on. I believe I recorded all the things that we did. Oh yeah, maybe this will be a Shadow Siege run. I mean, if it shows, maybe I take it. Anyways, so I think we're taking Herzl's Horde. It's just generally good and also helps me utilize the extra capacity a little better, kind of. The other option is Life Mother, which I do think is maybe a little too important for this challenge. And if I do the hat-trick challenge again, I think maybe I should ban Life Mothers from the list. I definitely think Dominion shouldn't be used ever, but Life Mothers I think is maybe a little too cheesy for the challenge. But either way, that's a later problem. Would be nice if Architect would get stronger for each unused room space left over or something. I've heard that as both a pitch for like a Shadow Siege rework and an Architect rework. And like, yeah, frankly, I'd take anything at this point. But I don't really think that that's particularly compelling as a design option. I mean, if it wanted to be something like they eat extra capacity and reduce the available capacity, that I think is okay. But it's also stepping on the toes of like Overgrowth Carapace still. But like, I'd sort of be okay with something like that. But even then, I don't know. It's just not that exciting. Anyways, we're taking Herzl's, I think, is ultimately the answer here. And we're gonna see what the fuck I can do. Okay, Morsel Maker is fine. Not great in the long run, but decent. I do actually need to see if we have Architect on offer here before any of this matters. We do. Okay. We do actually play this run then. Hall of Mirrors is pretty interesting with the Architect, I guess. I think you're confusing the terms vaguely interesting with actual interesting. I was looking for a different word there, failed to find it. The point is, yeah, it does something, but it's still not like anything to meaningfully build your deck around. Like, that's what I want from champions and rare units in particular, is I want something that actually changes the way that I play the run, or at least can change the way that I play the run. And Architect doesn't really fit that. Monstrous basically doesn't fit that. Glutton also basically doesn't fit that. Like, it just... They have an effect, but they're not particularly interesting effects, especially compared to basically every other champion. Like, for instance, like Conduit Tethys greatly alters how I'm able to play the game. I'm able to take all the expensive spells and still build, like, an incant-focused deck where I'm able to, like, take extra draw, and then I am still able to take high damage or, like, high-cost spells, and I'm still able to spam them out. Like, that's cool that it meaningfully changes the game whether I have Conduit Tethys or not. Does not feel like that at all with any of Penumbra's pathways. And that is why I bash it so constantly. Anyways, Wing Steel is good. Not as good as Monster Train 1. I'm going to tell you right now, we're taking Jack Strips. Okay, good old Architect doing its thing. We don't really benefit much from the extra capacity. Well, I could do this. Yeah, you know what? Let's do that. With Seraph, we're up against a minion. Which is not what I wanted to see. Kind of. There are ways we can get around it. But I was really kind of just not hoping for that. I was hoping for, I think, Entropy, but any of them... I don't know. We'll figure out what we can do. Gorge Penumbra you can at least build around kind of, the rest are just kind of... But you're not really building around Gorge Penumbra. Like, it's just a big stat stick. There are plenty of other ways to have a big stat stick. And also things like making an intrinsic, like, Shroud Spike, or intrinsic Shroud Spike with intrinsic Kindle. That's good on literally any unit. And Glutton Penumbra is not even in, like, the top 10 best units to use that on. Like, it's just not really compelling or interesting in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, also, we don't really need to worry about these guys, kind of. Well, we don't need to worry about the backliners. Because they're just going to naturally die to the Jack Strips. Because Jack Strips is good. It tilts you and changes your gameplay. Does that count? Oh, man. Anyways, we get the kill here. Unfortunately, I can't play more morsels on top floor, but that's okay. We're doing what we can do. May as well make you do 0 damage, I guess. Who cares? Alright, and then we do that, and we're not going to play things, because then it would just give him more things to kill. We're just going to sit here and chill. Ta-da! Didn't even need top floor. I mean, we killed one dude with our top floor, but maybe two? I don't know. It basically didn't matter. Okay, so I cannot take Antumbra Assault or Packed Morsels. I'm gonna take Prismal Dust. Yeah. This is one of those times where I do wish that I had a Life Mothers, but we don't. Rot is not bad. I think we're taking the Lone Coat, though. Does give me a Calcified Ember. Oh well, so be it. So, what are we doing here? Great question that I have to ask myself each and every day. So as far as units that we haven't used, We haven't taken Alloyed Construct. We haven't taken Crucible Warden. Haven't taken Morsel Maid, or Overgorger, or Shadow Eater, or Shadow Siege. We could also take another Morsel Maker. I'm not that excited about multiple Morsel Makers. Kind of. I would legitimately take Shadow Siege if it were offered. Kind of. I would take Overgorger if it were offered. It is unlikely to be offered. Morsel Maid is a little questionable, but yeah, I mean, I would take it at this moment. I would probably... I would take Allied Construct for now. I don't know that that's really what I want in the grand scheme of things, but I would take it right now. As far as Under Legion, which I for some reason always think is going to be right here, it's not. That's where Luna goes. Somehow, in my mind, I still think that, Luna is the second clan and Under Legion is the third, even though it's never been the case. But I just always think that that's the order of the clans for some reason. Anyways, moving on. I think it's because you start with Banish and Pyreborn unlocked already, and so Luna is the first one you unlock. But anyways, 6 energy Shadow Siege, how do you ever get that on the floors? So, I mean, we can play it out with Herzls already, as far as the energy goes. I don't have the capacity for it is the problem, since it is 6 capacity. But there are ways that we can get around that. Anyways, as far as units go. So, haven't taken Inoki. It's useful for me at the moment. Not our ideal unit. Deathcap Prophet, I would take, I guess, maybe, probably. I mean, I would take it for sure. It's not great for us necessarily. Moral Mistress is the big catch. Squad Leader is maybe kind of an option. It doesn't do anything for us yet, but I did skip on basically every rally card. Or spawning card, I should say. And so that technically does give us an out, maybe. Not wild about Cluster Kernel, not wild about Balm and Bellow. Enchantrel I would be pretty happy with. Yeah, the problem is that at the Under Legion banner, it's mostly hit Moral Mistress. At the Umbra banner, it's mostly Cry. For the time being, we can sort of utilize Shadow Eater. And we can sort of utilize Allied Construct. And I could kind of utilize, Overgorger. But the chance that Overgorger or Shadow Siege show up is so low. I will tell you right now, it would be really pleasing if we got Overgorger. I mean, kind of. It's a bit of a mess. The scaling is slow and awkward and all that, and being 2 cost and 3 capacity, it's a big ask. But having Herzl's Horde does mitigate some of that, and it is a unit that I would have some permanent scaling for, and then I could dupe it later on, and that would not be the worst thing we could do. But, I don't know, man. I think we still want to go for the Umbra banner. Also, I will say having Jackstrips does cut out a lot of the potential pitfalls. Anyways, we're going here. Please just give me Moral Mistress. Thank God. Alright. Now, unfortunately, I don't really have anything to hold over. And without Life Mother's Pyre, I can't just, dupe things infinitely. I think the other magic power upgrade costs more than this. Maybe it is always 20. I was just debating if I want to reroll. I kind of don't want to use the Antumbra Assaults because they're a card that we're not really supposed to have, but I do have them, and therefore I feel like I should put them to use. Also, we're in dire straits enough anyways. The problem is I don't know if this would be wasting 75 gold. I think we're just going to skip. And then we're going to really hope that we just draw some things we care about. Take back your anti-Penumbra propaganda, Sal. Yeah, no. Why are you the worst, Penumbra? Okay. Unfortunately, you are going to take a chunk of damage first turn, unless I can do something. Well, we can give you the lifesteal at least. Doesn't totally solve my life's problems, but hey. A top floor needs a Hall of Mirrors. I mean, kind of. I would be pretty happy with Hall of Mirrors, sort of. Oh, and I do have a loam coat. Already forgot I have a loam coat. Great pickup for us. In fact, I would go so far as to call it fabulous. What I really, really, really want, though, is like Pandemic and whatever the other one is called. Just all of the things that duplicate themselves. Those are what we want so badly right now. Yeah, the problem is this does just, like, nothing for us. Alright, the Spearman got this easy boss solo. Yeah, if only he did actual damage. The bigger problem, well, not the bigger problem, but part of the problem is that this guy gains armor every round, and so it cuts out half the damage that the Spearman was able to do. Anyways, we easily have this on top floor, so here we are. We also give him a little bit of decay. And there we go. Okay. Not the worst. Well, there's Space Prism. So I can't take Making of a Morsel. Can't take Perils. I'm taking Space Prism. And not because I need the capacity, but because it says Consume on it. Unfortunately, of course, it's the one that has the Calcified Ember on it. I can't take Infectory. I actually probably take the Rot here. Yeah, I'll take Rot. Another Loam Coat's okay, but whatever. So the Merchant of Arms is nice, but we are going to go for the Merchant of Magic, I think. So much consume money. Do you think this is Glutton Run? Yeah. Okay. So I can't take Puffball. Could take a Cluster Kernel. I don't think I want to, though. Like, it might help right now, but not really any other time. So I think we just want to do, like, intrinsic double stack on that. We're going to do that. Yeah, we're going to do this. I could have also done the Gooey Flask, which also would have been nice, but this is what we got for now. Shame I only have 114.7k channel points when I know others have at least 500k in this stream. You're not wrong. There are people who have a whole lot. I don't think I want this. The Dominion's Eye is not the worst thing for me, since we're not going to be using... like, it absolutely bricks Ember Drain decks for the most part. But we're not using Ember Drain, because we already used up basically all the Ember Drain cards. We didn't use up Void Binding, but... as an aside, I would probably have taken Mind Collapse if it were offered, but it wasn't. Void Binding is a myth. It's a good card. It's a card that gets overlooked. It's not as good in Monster Train 2 just because of the stupid Pyrelite part of the Titan fight. Like, you can still win without playing the Pyrelite, but it's so stupid and awful to last 20 turns just waiting for Dominion to die. Absolutely hate that. But anyways, it's still a good card. Yeah, I don't think I need these. The Dominating Power is kind of intriguing, but I don't really want to put that on the Moral Mistress. So, we're not going to do that. Yeah, here we are. Put it on Spearman. Spearman carry. I mean, I definitely have done, like, Steward-only runs. Especially since, what's the word I'm looking for? Steward's Quarters exists. Which does give, like, a pretty hefty power increase to Stewards. Like, let's be very clear about that. So I kind of want to do the Penumbra Assault, but I don't really care about the Penumbra Assault. What I really care about is getting 8 damage shields and just giving you a bit of decay. Advanced prototype for Monster Train 1 in a room, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, let's kill you. And then not use the consume cards, I think. Unfortunately, he got the rage from the guy dying to the jackships before he descends, but whatever. Once again, I think I just don't want to do the consume cards mainly. I will do this one on you just to get more decay. But I don't need it to kill enemies here, so we're just going to delay. I was hoping to get the Loam Coat on those interstitial turns before he gets back to top floor. Yeah. And then, of course, I get none of the consume cards this turn, which is okay. But the Loam Coat, as long as I got it before we run out of the damage shields, means that we're just going to keep stacking those up. And again, Jackstrips is doing incredible work for me. Yeah, you're going to escape. I don't care, and also there's nothing I can really do about it. But whatever. Jackstrips, I still think, is a card that people artifact that people pretty heavily undervalue. Yeah, we're not going to drop back into this, so I'm just going to do this now. It doesn't really matter. Like, the sap is going to wear off, and also he has a bunch of attack, and also it doesn't matter. Because I also just have a bunch of damage shields. Not me, I've seen the light and take Jackstrips very highly. It's real good. Like, especially with Invasion Trials being made more deadly. And also, like, Entropy in general, it works very well into Entropy Seraph. I mean, it's very good. Okay. What are we looking at here? So, 2 of these cards say consume on them, but one of them is Mitosis Cap. I'm pretty sure we're going to go with Mitosis Cap. So, because here's the deal. I really do want more Moral Mistresses. But I also really want to just, like, dupe the Prismal Dust. Well, not the Prismal Dust, really. But I want to dupe the consume cards like the Gooey Flask, especially since that future-proofs us against not seeing the cards that duplicate themselves. So I can spend my my dupes on other things while still getting a full floor of Moral Mistresses. So, pretty confident we're taking Mitosis Cap. Is Mitosis on Morsels still a thing, or did they patch it? I believe it's still a thing. In Monster Train 1, it was undervalued. In Monster Train 2, people like having time to scale, and so they don't take it as much as my understanding. I'm not sure I understand the logic you're saying there, but yeah, I mean, either way, I think people undervalued in Monster Train 1, I think they undervalue in Monster Train 2. I don't know, we're taking the Mitosis Cap. And then Enchantrel. The problem is I don't have any, like, I don't spawn anything. Jackstrip steals Savagery Slays. I mean, that is fair. And there are a chunk of people who don't play random, or like variety in any way, who do only pick Pyre of Dominion or Pyre of Savagery. I feel like Sal undervalues Penumbra if that's what we're talking about. How dare you, Tom? I value Penumbra exactly the right amount. To be fair, one of the Gabriel, who is a good and well-known-ish at least player from Monster Train, at least the last time I saw his tier list, he did have Penumbra, I think in A tier. I do disagree with that tier list in a number of ways, and I know why he puts it there, because it's sort of evaluating champions in a different way. Because the way that Gabriel looks at a lot of things, including the champions, is just on pure like win rate percentage. And so what he's looking at mostly there is how often he's winning a run where he starts with Penumbra. And that's because he's using Penumbra in sort of a different way, where he's looking at Penumbra as it helps him get through the early game, and then he throws Penumbra away. Which is valid, but I don't think that actually speaks to the strength of the champion so much as, like, it is not a unit that scales well into the late game. It is not a unit that really solves problems for you. Also, not an interesting champion in any way, shape, or form. But anyways, here we are. Rambling aside. He's jealous because he can never be as beautiful as Penumbra. You're right, Fury. I accepted that long ago. Just had a run where Penumbra was doing like 2400 per turn, still bad. I mean, yes, but there are tons of other like champions and units that could have been doing that much damage or more with that same setup. Anyways, the main thrust of the issue here is, am I taking Enchantrel? Cat feeds off the hate. The thing is, like, Enchantrel's really good, but I don't think I can actually utilize it well. I do really wish that I had Proliferate, but unfortunately we're past the point where we can see that. It would have been really nice, though, with a bunch of Moral Mistresses. Particularly with Umbra, because you can get the Damage Shield 3 upgrade. So then you can have basically your entire force start with damage shields, and then you can start proliferating and just give multiple damage shields to the entire floor. Like, that's really good. And unfortunately, not a thing we get to do this time. Anyways, the main thrust of the issue is, I think we're just not taking Enchantrel, because I don't have ways to generate fungi. On the other hand, I could still see things to let me do that, and maybe I still want to take Enchantrel anyways. I'm just gonna not take it. We are going to take Draw, because it helps smooth out the situation. Morsel Maker, yes, but it doesn't really help. There are some very good things here. We're definitely going here for a lot of reasons. Mainly that we want to get the Moral Mistress powered up before we start duping it. And I do have gold. Okay. I thought I had gold, and then I saw that it was much lower in gold than I expected to be, and then I was pretty sure that I just hadn't picked it up. I think we're just not taking the Titanite. I was really hoping for either Smidgestone or Dualism. I mean, I'll still take the damage shields. Honestly, the regen's sort of okay for me too, but whatever. So I can't take Glutton's Maw, can't take Weapons Cache. Do I want to take Stasis Crystal? Kind of? Because the edge trigger should still work while in stasis. Pretty sure I do want that. Good on Penumbra, I guess. I mean, it's good on literally anything for me right now. This is legit kind of a concern. I think I still want to do it, though. Oh, God. Maybe I don't. I really want the gold, and also it feels like a terrible world when I'm not taking every trial. But legitimately, this is a terrible situation for us. I think I need to not take it for once. Like, if this were just a normal run, I would risk it. But the fact that this is run 3 of Hat Trick Challenge, and not just Hat Trick Challenge, but goddamn Penumbra Hat Trick Challenge. Any of the purple stasis trigger, if I recall, some are a little hard to trigger in stasis. So, here's more what I meant, is... Yes, I'm aware that triggers still happen in stasis, but there are some things right now that are bugged that don't work in stasis. Like, unless they fix it, which I don't think they have yet. For instance, God, I'm blanking on the specifics. There was at least a couple things that did not work in stasis. I think it was like... anything that does AoE that would normally target itself, like Steelworker, wasn't working. And not just in the way that it doesn't give itself armor, because that's expected because it's in stasis, but it wouldn't trigger at all while it was in stasis. So it wouldn't give armor to the other units, when what it should be doing is armors everybody else, just not itself. Almost clicked that on again. Either way, we're not doing it. Oops, wrong order. Oh boy, so exciting. Penumbra gives us more capacity now. It still is not enough that I can play out a Shield Steward there. Well, I do want to do the Prismal Dust, but I also want to do other things. So I think we're just gonna do that. I could still do that, but I don't really want to lose the damage shields immediately. I mean, maybe that's fine. So I'm not going to draw into this again for a while. Yeah, I guess I'll do it. Also, I probably should have been setting up on mid so that these guys would die first. Yeah, here's the problem, is I really wanted you to have damage shields to propagate, but you don't. And while I'd like to save Rot for the future, it's also important that I'm just not letting enemies leak. Oh, I did forget about the Mitosis Cap. Yeah. Well, for the moment, we're gonna do this. Might have to change our plans, but here we are. Yeah. Ow. Was hoping for a different morsel there, but so be it. Well, I guess you get that one. Oh, I should have done these. Damage shield one is the one we would have wanted to eat. I mean, life steal is the one I really wanted, but... Okay, we did get this on the right turn. Is that enough? It is. Unsurprisingly, because it, like, heavily neuters their attack and gives a good chunk of decay as well. Alright. Okay, so we can take any of these. I don't care about Feast. I think we're taking Excavation Eruption. Yeah, I'll do it for reasons. I'll take Fertile Ground, I guess. I'm getting a lot of Calcified Embers, which I don't love. I think we're going here. Would still kind of like to go to the Merchant of Arms. Also, the removals are not unwelcome. But we're going here. Hopefully we get, I don't know, World-Ending Strain? Fine. I don't know. Probably doesn't really matter to me. Nope. If Morsel Baker just gave those stats every turn instead of, like, creating morsels, I mean, it would be a very different unit and not, like, a great trade-off, but it would... I would be picking up more of them in this run, because then I could actually just use them. The problem is that I'm able to generate a good chunk of extra capacity, but I still am limited by the 7-unit cap, and therefore... I don't just want to fill up half of my capacity with 2 morsel makers and the 4 morsels they're generating every turn. And by half of my capacity, I mean almost all of it. Anyways, all that said. Not what I want. One of you is getting extra damage shields, though. Okay. I think I just want to be on mid-floor. There are haste guys. Yes, I am aware, and I took that into account because we have jack strips. Seeing quick multi and thinking not useful with shroom units always feels so bad. Yeah. Okay, so you are the one I want to target. This looks real weird. Not the most impressive spawn, but there we go. Well, fine. Feels bad, but so be it. I would like to get rid of this calcified embers, but here we are. You're definitely getting that. I'm wary of using up all my consume cards. But maybe it's fine with the amount of damage shields I've got. I don't really want to let all these guys get through, so... Okay. Alright, I am going to sacrifice some Pyre HP. Maybe I don't need to, but fine. Unfortunately, it's going to be a fair bit of Pyre HP, but whatever. Well, didn't draw you at the right time. God, that was a lot of damage. I just wanted to make sure I had a better chance of killing you. Okay. Turns out I didn't need to be that conservative. I mean, I guess it does help that you are 135, 135. Anyways, that was a lot of HP to lose. Shouldn't have done that. Yeah, it does hurt. Oh well, let's see what we can do. Oh, man. No. I also can't take the grovel. I kind of want to take the cannibalize. Unfortunately, I cannot play it during deployment. Still kind of want to take it, though. I mean, I think we probably just don't worry about it. I can't take Grow Room. We don't care about truffles. And Mushy Room is fine, but not really what we need in our life, I think. Well, I want to go here for a multitude of reasons. There are a lot of things I would like. The Merchant of Trinkets, but we're going here. The healing is not unwelcome. Merchant Magic is useful. That's pretty good for us. We'll take that. Bit of a pain, but overall, pretty good. Hat trick question. I know you aren't allowed to swap secondary claims in the middle, but you can swap starter cards, run decay one run, spawn the next. Nope. Gotta take the same starter card. Which usually isn't too big of an issue. Most of the time you're going to want the same starter card for any given champion. But, yeah, like... if, for instance, I had left all the, like, rally units to the end and I'd used up a couple of the spawn cards, then it would be a little... yeah, not allowed to then swap to the spawn starter to give myself a better chance at being able to rally well enough. The whole point is just to have kind of dwindling opportunities as time goes on. All that said, what are we doing here? I think we're just skipping here. It's just, I was debating whether I want to do, like, permafrost on, like, the gooey flask or something to try to just ruin some things. Oh, how goes Minion Locomotive? It goes okay. We had a dodgy run with Monstrous, and now we're trying to make a winning Architect run. Okay. You know, I was hoping for Intrinsic, but I'm at least doing this and this. And that. God, what am I doing with my life? Dodgy run, he says, after having a 400 attack, Penumbra hitting 7 times a turn. Yeah, that is the... that's the very deceptive way to describe that run. Unfortunately, the damage shield variant is fairly bad for us. Is not ideal. I don't love... Oh, you're the haste dude. I always think that these guys have sweep, because they look sort of similar to the other ones. Not the right one, though. I don't really need to do that, probably. Yeah, the problem is that you guys get to eat before the decay goes off. And so it goes into that, which I don't love. You know what? Let's get some decay on Kale, even if it's not the best way to do it. I actually maybe wanted that Ember from that morsel. Yeah, that would be nice. Okay, well, we're gonna make another view. And I do really want the Loam Coat, but also, like, this is a good opportunity. I didn't make it through end of stream yesterday. Did you clear the little Stygian guy? You mean Gal? And yes, we did win with Tethys. It was pretty silly by the end of the run. But yeah, it was a good run. This, on the other hand, real bad. Oh, this is a consume card. I'm looking at the words that say consume. Okay. Not as bad as I was thinking. I was thinking that I didn't have any consume cards, and then I was gonna have to yada yada yada. Here we are. Okay, let's do that. Does make a big block of fun guys, which I don't hate. And I guess we'll just give you more decay. Nice, good to remember Soul Guard's name, but not Tethys for some reason. Yeah, no worries. I mean, there's a lot of things to keep track of. But yeah, we hit Pyroclasm after the second fight, and that was like the #1 card we were looking for. And it went real well after that. Especially because we had Life Mother's Pyre, so we had to just duping it repeatedly. Yeah, so it doesn't matter if these guys escape more or less. Unfortunately, I have very few consume cards left. And by that I mean, I don't know if I have any left, but that's okay. Partly why we got some decay on Kale earlier. Yeah, unsurprisingly, I have just enough like damage shields to tank with, and a decent amount of decay. It doesn't matter that he's going to get some damage shields, and we do kill off several of the morsels before they're even eaten. But we're able to just get through his damage shields real easily. And then Kale himself is not very threatening. Like, Kale is not the main threat of this fight. We do not need another mitosis cap. Kindle's okay for us. Kindle's kind of cute. Blazing Bolts is sort of interesting. In that it is another card I could turn into a consume card. Unfortunately, we have utterly fucking whiffed on all of the, like, added copy to the discard spells so far. Nor were we offered Unearthed Treasure, which would be the other really valuable thing to see. Kale sure does exist in this fight, along with the units. Yeah. It says consume, that's good enough. I mean, yeah, basically. Also, we are at least getting extra consume cards with Excavated Embers now. Unfortunately, I didn't hit Smidgestone on the Moral Mistress. Is the list on the right the cards we've already used? Yes, they're the cards we've already used. It's up there as a reminder of cards I cannot draft if they show up. So yeah, those are all the things we already used on the Penumbra runs and can't take with us. Yeah, I mean, the Blazing Bolts is kind of nice. I think I actually maybe want that. Just because we're about to go to another Merchant of Magic. Yeah, that's fine. We'll do that. And then I think we're taking draw, but I'm also going to evaluate the capacity situation. So Penumbra is now free. And more than that is technically a Space Prism. Which means that we're going to have 6 capacity, or if we're setting up on mid-floor, it's going to be more than that. Perils being outlawed makes me sad. I don't know if it even showed up in this run, but we really fucking badly needed it last run, so it paid off. But yeah, so if we set up on mid-floor, we will instead have 8 capacity, so we could fit 4 Moral Mistresses, which is, like, pretty good. I think I'm pretty content with that. It did show up real early. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was or not. If I take Heaven's Light, I can fit 1 more Moral Mistress, which is also not bad, because I have 1 more fight to dupe a Moral Mistress. Actually, 2 more fights to dupe a Moral Mistress. It's also technically the possibility that we're offered extra capacity room in the shop. I wouldn't really want to take that. What I want to take is I want to take Inferno Room or Zone of Silence. Preferably Inferno Room. Basically only because we're up against Dominion. And we have 8 Deployment Ember. Honestly, maybe I just want to take the Ember. I think I just want draw, though, but no, we're going to take Ember. I know I pivoted to that, and whatever. Here we are. So, we're going here. The healing is fine. That's not why we're doing it, but it is fine. I'm mean, I kind of like the remove consume. It mostly doesn't actually matter. I mostly just actually want it to be a consume card. Still fascinating to me that both plus Ember and plus Capacity were buffed, and plus Draw was left alone because it was already busted. Well, yeah, I mean, Ember wasn't, like, totally intentionally directly buffed. It's just that because of deployment phase, it functions very differently. Yeah, like, this is cute, but, like, we don't actually care about the Excavated Ember all that much. We really just want more Consume cards. That's what we care about. Doing Remove Consume in the Gooey Flask is kind of nice, but again, it doesn't really solve my problems. If we had a Proliferate, so I could be propagating my damage shields, and, like, propagating the enemy's sap and decay, then I would do Remove Consume. But that's not a thing available to us. How much do I want to save gold for the reroll? A decent amount. Okay. Well, didn't hit what I was hoping to hit, but fine. Okay, you cost less. You consume now. -2 spell tram bolts to get extra copies. Kind of forgot about that, and also not sure if it works that way. But either way, that would be nice, I suppose. But we're gonna dupe this. I was hoping for intrinsic, didn't get it. That's fine. If you hit Great Decay, that would be kind of fun. That would also be nice. Yeah, you're a little bit of a problem, but we'll see. You're mostly not that big of a problem. Okay, so. Cat, you are in the way, my darling. Please evacuate the premises. Yeah, we're just gonna do this for 10 damage shields, I think. Could have played out the shard, probably, but here we are. We do lose a couple damage shields attacking into that, but that's okay. Yeah, I'll do that just to do that. Although I should have done that here, I guess. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. We can lose the damage shield, too. I was forgetting that Blazing Bolts, the first one, just hits the front target, which was not actually helpful. But whatever. Not a big deal. Okay, we're still gonna copy one of you, even though it likely doesn't matter. And then, for safety's sake, we're going to give you a bunch of decay. Yes, it did make them stronger. Yes, it did. Don't remember what I was trying to say. It did things. It doesn't super matter. Yeah, you are a problem, though. Because I can't have him stopping me going to the next turn. Yeah, I actually didn't need to do both on you. But I think that's still fine. Because you have enough decay on you that you're going to die next turn anyways. have no decay on you, so we really do want some decay on you. That should be enough. Oh yeah, and I do actually have capacity for a morsel here. How exciting. Have a bit of decay. It doesn't matter, really. But here we are. Once again, Jackstrip's doing some real fine work for us. Unfortunately, you are going to hurt my Pyre at this rate, but we're going to kill you because that's the priority. Yeah, I think I just take the Pyre damage and suck it up. Maybe I don't want to. Alright, we'll reduce how much I'm taking. I'm still taking some, but... So we only took 3 instead of 9. Like, it was an improvement. I don't think this matters, because we should kill a Thane next turn, kind of. Actually, might want to use these right now. Just because we know for a fact we're not getting... Like, these 3 cards are not going to be consume cards. So whatever. I don't know. I don't know if that's actually worth it, but here we are. Either we do kill a bunch of things, and as is, we're okay, but... We'll just do that, make it even better. Oh yeah, and we'll make you a real unit as well. Alright, how exciting. Our deck works! Also, with Thane, doesn't matter. She has 64 attack, but we have damage shields. And there we go. Okay. I can take the Cannibalize again. We're not taking Emberforge, we're not taking Cave-In. I mean, Cave-In's like sort of vaguely interesting for us, but we're mostly skipping that. God. So, I sort of can survive Pox, because I do have damage shields, but I don't really want it. It's kind of okay for me, but we're gonna skip that. And I'm pretty sure we're going here. Like, going for the Merchant of Steel is kind of nice because it can hit dualism, yada yada yada. We're going here though. Echo Vault, I don't hate. Berkey with the edge units is pretty neat. Yep, it's pretty good. Would have been better if we'd gotten it earlier, but I don't really need Artificial Pyrostone now. Trader's Quill is technically useful for me. I've got how much? 10 Deployment Ember? I think I probably do want that, at the very least, so I can make something deployable. What ranks can the Belatra event show up in? I don't remember. That is something I've not memorized about this game. To be fair, I never memorized all the event rings in Monster Train 1 either. I had a rough idea of when some of them could show up. Like, I know that the 5x dupe can only show up in Ring 3, at least in Monster Train 1. I think in Monster Train 2 it's also Ring 3, but... I mean, Echo Vault's good. I don't remember if it counts as a consume card. I think it's worth us taking, though. And Zone of Silence is a thing that I want. It's not how I wanted to do it, but we are going to take it. We are going to do this in a slightly different order, where we take that, reroll, in case we got Dante's Footstool, which we didn't. And then that means we give the deployable to you. Okay. Would have preferred Inferno Room, kind of, but this is not bad. Just Inferno Room would have been better. Footstool is the one that grabs a random room at 0 cost during deployment. Yes. Notably, yeah, I mean, yes. That is why I would have wanted it, because it would have gotten the Zone of Silence and made it 0 cost, which then would have also meant that I could have spent the deployment on the Loam Coat, which would have been pretty nice for us. Not truly necessary, but nice. Yeah, we really whiffed on a number of things I wanted, but that's fine. Do that, and then see what we can do. Okay, so that's going down there, so they can't create Scourge cards for me. You're going there. You're going up front, and then I should have done this in a slightly different arrangement, but that's okay. Yeah, I probably should have done this slightly differently so I could have played out the Shield Steward as well. I'm not going to worry about it. That mid-floor looks like a live concert. Yeah, more or less. You're going to get that because I don't actually want to dupe anything. Oops, all mistresses. Pretty much. Gonna do that, I guess. There were a bunch of other things I'd considered, but that's the one we're gonna do. Okay, so yeah, if I'd done that last turn, you would be at 0 attack, which doesn't really matter. It matters in some runs, because once you get him to 0 attack, he can't do the doubling corruption on strike. But when he's bagging into a bunch of damage shields, it doesn't really matter. It still would be nice, because I'd be losing less damage shields per turn, mind you, but the main threat of it is not really important. Anyways, you have a lot of decay on you. I guess I'll do that so that that's what gets copied. It doesn't really matter, but whatever. I know a lot of people dislike Savagery Syrup, but Dominion's still my least favorite frickin' corruption. I mean, there's still a lot of people who hate Dominion. But yes, there are a lot of people who hate Savagery. Mainly for the backliners. Okay, we'll just do it this way. And give you a little bit more there. Also forgot that that was going to get recast with Echo Vault, but that's fine. It was not unwelcome, that's for sure. okay. Technically, you're not dead yet, but, like, meh. God, imagine if we had hit Dualism on the Moral Mistresses. The amount of damage we'd be outputting would be so much better. I mean, there's, again, so many things that would have made this deck better than it is. It's fine right now. Like, we're definitely going to crush this pretty hard. It's just that we could have been fantastic. And then we'll just give you some more decay. I don't hate any of them, to be fair. They're all fun deck build. They're fun build check designs. I just like my flimsy sweepers that Dominion likes to use. Yeah. I don't really mind the corruption. Oh, you're not dying. I didn't realize that for some reason. I guess I got carried away. I don't know that that really helped. It's fine. I can take a little bit of damage. Who cares? Probably should have just brought you out of stasis. I don't know. It's whatever. It's okay. I've done this myself. Also, I didn't... I accidentally did kind of fuck this. No, we're fine. You're dying this turn. I knew there was a reason I didn't care about these guys leaking. And then I panicked seeing them leak. Turns out, it's all good. Everything's fine. I had already long ago determined that you were dying on the next turn. Don't remember what I was saying because I started panicking. That's fine. Here we are. Okay, how exciting. We should be okay for a number of reasons. But yeah, I'm really glad we got the Moral Mistress. I'm sad we didn't get Dualism, but that's fine. Getting the Moral Mistress was the main thing. Getting the Mitosis Cap was also quite good. Do I actually want to set up on bottom floor? No, I don't, because I want the extra capacity. That's why we're setting up on mid floor. Technically, I probably should put one of the higher damage shield ones on a different floor so that we can block savagery a little easier. It doesn't really matter to me, though. Sure, why not? I feel obligated to play that out as well. I'm not gonna, get out of this fight having taken 0 damage either way, so it's a largely moot point. I do want to play the Loam Coat, but I also really want to do other things. I do want to play the Pyrelite, but I also kind of just want to do this. Yeah, we'll just do that. That's fine. Okay. Well, here we are. Yeah, I guess we'll play that, and then we're playing Firelight last, so that it gets duped by the Echo Ball. Entropy doesn't clear any statuses like Divinity Right, just mean to Dazed and Ascend, Descend, Advance, Retreat, I guess. Yes, correct. It does not clear anything Yeah. Which I do think people made way too big a deal about Dominion clearing those. But yes, Entropy does not clear anything. Alright, we are taking a little bit of damage on this fight. This is kind of a cute turn for this. Entropy is also immune to rooteds. Yeah, all that matters. Alright. I actually maybe wanted to dupe a different spell there. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, it's still going to take us a couple turns to kill Savagery and Entropy, but we're, like, mostly pretty solved. I just need to make sure that my wave clear keeps up. Which it is. Yeah, there's technically one morsel I could get here that would help. Nope, that wasn't it. If I'd gotten a... Oh, you guys don't die now. Do I care? Not really. Because you'll still die next turn. Oh, yeah, you're going to heal them, but that should be okay. Yeah, I knew that was possible for that to mess me up, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. Could have used Glaster and Health Morsel because you are the one that I wanted, but whatever. Anyways, I'll take a little bit more damage, and then we Antumber Salt and murder a dude. And one of our Moral Mistresses finally dies, and then they explode. And we did it! We beat Penumbra! It was shaky. We did certainly get lucky. We whiffed on a lot of the things that I wanted on a lot of the runs. But we got what I needed. The Monstrous run was the real scary one. But it worked out. I'm glad that we got Monstrous when we had Pyre of Savagery, because if I had gotten Pyre of Savagery on, like, this run, that would have been way worse. Definitely felt like an A-tier champ to me. Hat-trick Penumbra is nuts, Lamau. Yeah. Again, that's why it's fun to do this, is it's not easy. Particularly on certain champions. I mean, like, we've had a pretty okay time of it. A lot of the runs have not been super difficult for me. But then again, I also have, like, literally 700 hours in Monster Train 2 and 2,000 in Monster Train 1. I perhaps play this game too much. Life Mother helped a lot. Yeah, Life Mother has helped quite a bit. We didn't use it on Penumbra at all, and I haven't used it on necessarily every champion. But I do get the feeling that it maybe needs to get banned. I'm not going to, like, make a sweeping judgment right now and say definitively that it is going to be banned from future use, but I'm going to consider it still. But for the time being, we are making progress, which brings us up to 6 of 20 complete. Also, still sad that we died right at the end with Bullet. Saving Talos for a morale boost later on. If that's a jab at Talos being bad, I disagree that Talos is bad. But the main thing is I just only wanted to do one champion per each clan to start, just so that we aren't left with, like, both Awoken champions right at the end or whatever. Because I like the variety. I like swapping things around. So we're going to do Lazarus, Awoken, or Remnant next. Or maybe go back to Under Legion, but we've played a lot of Under Legion recently, having done Bolette fairly recently, and then having used Under Legion for Penumbra. Or stipulate that you need to use all pyres at least once before using them again. Yeah, I'd consider something like that, but I don't really want to have choices from one champion affecting the next champion. No, I mean, I like Talos. Figured it would be relatively straightforward, especially compared to the Monster Train 1 champs. Gotcha. I wasn't sure. There's still a lot of people who take jabs at Talos. And, like, I probably argue with him more than I should, knowing that I'm unlikely to convince some people. But she's not a bad champion. Especially one thing that people just, like, do not, like, take into account when they're evaluating Talos is that it's not really that you're evaluating, like, Talos versus whatever other champion. Because Talos lets you freely overstack a floor, it is Talos plus a banner unit versus that other champion. And more to the point, Talos works with whatever you are doing, basically. Like, she does not pigeonhole you into any given strategy, which makes her very flexible. And that's really valuable. And people don't seem to value that as much as they perhaps should. But anyways, ranting aside, we'll talk more about Talos when we're actually playing Talos. All that said, who are we playing next? I lean towards Lazarus because I don't think we've played Lazarus at all. We have played some Remnant when doing Gilda and when doing Queen. I haven't done Awoken yet, but who cares about Awoken champions? I think I want to do Lazarus, and I think we're doing Orechi first. And Banish is kind of bananas in general. Optimizing Talos is gravy. Yeah, I mean, Banish is a good, strong, versatile clan. People complain, it's like, oh, she's bad for, like, the shift units. There are other shift cards in Banished other than just Cause. Like, yeah, it's nice to start with them, but it's perfectly reasonable to do a shift deck without starting with Just Cause. Also, there's more to Banish than just the shift units. Like, Firebrand is very good. People already like Firebrand quite a bit, and Talos helps get rid of some of Firebrand's weaknesses. Also, there are all the units from your allied clan. But I don't know, people just are like way too hung up on like Inspire being a bad starter card, which it's not a great starter card, let's be clear, but it's not like trash tier awful. Like oftentimes, because it's like bare minimum, since you can overstack Talos on a floor, it is generally +3 attack and +1 stacking armor every time you cast it. Like, that's not bad. Not for the early game. That is more impactful than a variety of other cards are going to be. Like, it's better than Witchweave, basically always. I probably like it more than Shade Splitter for the most part as well. Like, it's not terrible. It's not great. It's not terrible. And Talos herself does solid value. Anyways, ranting aside, we need to actually pick a champion. I'm going to do, I think, Orechi, unless people have strong opinions. Yeah, I think we're going to do Orechi next. And I do need to clear out my tracking sheet, but I'll do that in a moment. Okay. So we're doing Orechi. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm pretty confident we're doing it with Stygian. Secret ingredient is already very good for incanting. So pairing that with like the incant units and the incant upgrade in Stygian is very good. Also, technically you can do some cheesy things with the infusions not being able to be discarded with like Foregone Power. Don't know if we're taking Foregone Power or Frozen Lands, haven't decided. Also, yeah, like, I don't know, it's good. Underlegion for buff galore. Underlegion is also good, but yeah. One of the big problems with this clan combo is there's not that many attack buffs between the two clans. There are a couple, though I'm blanking on their name. Like, Lazarus has 2, even if It's Alive got nerfed some. Orechi's paths feel weird to me. Mixed Rat is pretty straightforward, but I'm not really sure how to set up the unstable stuff. Well, you'll see. But To go over in brief detail, since I guess we should look at what his paths are. So we've got Brewmaster, Reanimator, and Mad Scientist. Brewmaster being just the kind of straightforward, it mixes path. Another path that some people are way too convinced is bad, even though it's actually pretty legit good. It's boring, but turns out Mix is a strong and versatile effect, so even though it has a kind of long cooldown, it does a lot of work for you. Reanimator is his best path, and it's very good. Mad Scientist has some real good highs and some kind... So the problem with Mad Scientist is it's more inconsistent. It's also weaker to the... weaker to a variety of enemies. Particularly, it's weaker to the silence enemies and bosses like Kel. But it is good. Like, the amount of unstable it can output is real strong. Anyways, we'll get into it in more detail. The main thing is, first off, are we taking Frozen Lances or Foregone Powers? Mad Scientist needs a good tank and sweep insurance, right? No, not really, kind of. One thing, so, I've made this rant before, and I know we're still delaying actually starting the run. I don't really know why I opened up the logbook here, but it helps me think. Anyways, one thing that I think is too pervasive an idea in Monster Train, particularly with Monster Train 2, is the idea that you need to have a tank unit. Like, a lot of people complain, oh, you know, like, Vanguardian Fell is bad at tanking, or yada yada yada, whatever. The point is, you can tank with any unit. And it is often better to not be taking the explicit, like, tank units because they generally don't contribute to offense, and you still need stacking, like, reliable defense even with a, like, tank unit. Like, yes, it makes your defense needs a little easier, but it doesn't help you against, like, backline damage coming in. It doesn't help you with offense, which is usually the bigger problem, especially in a world where there are double 500 HP heavies, like, yada, 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 yada. My point is, you can turn any unit into tanking. Like, you can use things like Spike of the League to just stack a bunch of Reanimate on whatever unit you choose. You don't need to have... Like, you don't need to have Makeshift Golem, you don't need to have Hulking Mass. Like, I basically never take Hulking Mass. It's not a bad unit per se, but I value so many other things in the clan way higher than that. And if I'm stacking Reanimate on something, I can just stack it on a unit that matters rather than a tank. Obviously, like, the benefit of Hulking Mass is that you don't necessarily have to, like, stack a bunch of Reanimate on it. It makes your small amounts of Reanimate go much further. But stacking a bunch of Reanimate is already just very good. Anyways, ranting aside, here we are. I know that was not the most coherent rant, but here we are. I just hear so often people complaining like, oh, I lost because I wasn't offered a tank. It's like, no, that's not why you lost. But anyways, I kind of want Frozen Lance. Kind of want Foregone Power. And Foregone Power is a little bit mitigated by having the infusions. Don't think I super care, though. The problem is just, like, I don't care about Frozen Lances, like, at all. They do basically no damage. Like, they do more damage in Monster Train 2, but it's still pretty underwhelming. And the Foregone Powers at least sort of can be a way to power the offering cards. It's a really inconsistent and awkward way to do it, but it does sort of work. Also, the Frostbite is kind of nice. I'm going to take the Frozen Lances, though. Anyways, as far as what we're actually doing, Echo the Time Father is okay. I think we want Bogworms to be one of these. I think Aquaths is okay as another. Life Mothers is obviously good, but I kind of want to avoid it. Herzls is good. Heart of the Pact is also pretty decent. Specifically for our needs. I think we want Heart of the Pact for Mad Scientist or Etchy. Just because the extra draw possibility can work out really nicely. But which one do we want to start with? I do like the idea of kind of mixing up and using some that I haven't been using often. Maybe I just want to start with Heart of the Pact. Kind of want to start with Aquaths. It's not a great pyre, though. Anyways, I know we're taking a long time to get started. Bear with me. So fuck Proto Heart Cage. It belongs in the pool, but it's also just boring. I do kind of wish that it had just, like everything had these same stats, and then you just took a pyre enhancement, and so there would be no reason to have Proto Heart Cage, but there is a good reason to have different stats on the pyres themselves. Anyways, we're just going to start with Aquaths, whatever. Here we go. Who cares? Explosive Reaction is a good card. Guard of the Unnamed is a thing. Mollusk Mage is a thing. What are we offered? Reanimator or Mad Scientist? Okay. Sure. So, I think we want Reanimator here. Just because Explosive Reaction is real good with Reanimator. We do still need to be... I mean, Explosive Reaction is also okay on Mad Scientist. I think it's more useful with Reanimator, though. But I am going to need, like, consistent Reanimate... Like, I'm going to need better ways to stack Reanimate. That's ultimately what I'm trying to say. Our stat increase from the major boss is the same for each pyre, does it vary? It varies, I think. It's been a while since I've actually looked, and unfortunately it's not something you can look up in the logbook. But I think it is slightly different. Anyways, I guess we're going to take Reanimator. I kind of wanted to leave it for last, just because it's kind of the most reliable path. Mad Scientist is also pretty good, though. I mean, like, Orechi's just a good champion, turns out. No one cares about Breath of Heaven. Kind of. We're going to take Cuddlebeard, I guess. I don't know. There's a great chance it does nothing for me. So be it. Really would have preferred that it be Rules of Containment, because then I would have had a way to just murder all these dudes as soon as they show up. Anyways, we're doing this. Not a bad time for that. Although I was really hoping to get this started. Honestly, I'm just gonna do this. So I can start that, and I can just kill off a couple of those guys. Because either we were gonna get, like, green or blue. And if I got blue, I would have just killed these guys. If I got green, I start powering up Orechi. Yeah, I thought it varied, but I haven't played for a bit. Had too many games to play the last few months, so I guess that's a good problem. Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, and then there's this. I really do want the Collector. Fine. There we go. Is there a trinket that gives Mix one more choice? There is an artifact that does exactly that. And it is good. Kind of want to do the Frozen Lands. Really want to get this going so I can hopefully start getting things we care about. There's also another Mix artifact that, what is the word I'm looking for? The the first time you mix every turn, it does an additional mix. I still take a little damage, but we take less damage by hitting with the Frozen Lance. Okay. So that's kind of cute, but I think what we're doing is we're just going to do this here. You do heal when going up floors, though. I guess we'll just do that there and stop you guys from taking out any of my armor. I do hopefully want to get more reanimate on Orechi. I guess we're also doing that. Unfortunately, he does heal the damage that I did, but hey. Okay, so we should be fine now. Almost. Apparently not. Well, alright. Fine. Didn't quite make it. We are going to take some damage on the pyre. Oh, well. Had I not tried to get the collector, we would be okay. But I really wanted the collector, so we got the collector. Fine adjacent. Yeah, more or less. Alright, Forevermore Serum is probably what we take. One of the issues with Lazarus is I don't want to use up... I don't want to use up, like, every source of reanimate, kind of. But so be it. We definitely want Forevermore Serum. I'm pretty sure we want to leave Offering Token. And we definitely want to leave Crypt Builder. I'm going to leave Helical. Like, we already have Explosive Reaction, which is pretty solid. And if we can just get, like, Forevermore Serum and Explosive Reaction online, we've got a winning run. Which does mean we're going to go Merchant of Magic. That's pretty good. Unfortunately, what we really wanted to see was remove Consume and Holdover. But Holdover's still very good. Leaving for the sake of later runs, I assume? Yes. The Crypt Builder less so, but yes, the Offering Token was very much a leave for later runs. That's not exactly what I want. Nameless Siren I would take normally here, probably. Even if I can't kind of fit it at the moment, but still. Unfortunately, I don't have enough to re-roll. At least not for that. I could re-roll for the -2 on the other Explosive Reaction, which I don't hate. Offering Token on the Unstable Encamp Path was burr. Yeah, I mean, that's sort of why we're leaving it. Yeah, I think we're just going to save the gold for now. Having the Holdover Unstable or Explosive Reaction is very good. It does mitigate a lot of our problems. Unfortunately, I would have loved to have gotten, like, Intrinsic on it. Would have loved to do a lot of things, frankly. Also, sadly, I'm not going to be maximizing your Incanting because I'm not playing out the Infusion immediately. I want to build up that Reanimate. It's pretty important to me. Yeah, I'm gonna do this right now. I maybe don't need to. I'm just double checking. I was pretty confident I hadn't taken a Calcify Amber. But yeah, this way I don't have to leak. I'm already kind of low because I let the boss hit me twice, and that was pretty painful. Still didn't get the Explosive Reaction. Well, fine. Turns out that would have been real nice to draw earlier. Whatever, we'll avoid taking the damage, I guess. Draw one, discard one is super interesting design space. Varies a lot between different card games. I think Monster Train 1, 2 are some of the highest ceilings for it in general. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, it is an interesting design space, like you say, since it sort of doesn't do anything on its own. Kind of. Well, there's 7 reanimate. Look at us go. And now, he's super dead. Since now, instead of doing like 30 or whatever it was, he does 55 unstable, or 55 damage per explosion, which makes much better value out of the reanimate. I will take another Forevermore Serum. I honestly didn't even look at what we're up against. I'm gonna skip the Unnamed Tome. That doesn't really hurt us all that bad. The healing is okay. Merchant of Arms doesn't super matter to me. There are some like sort of cute things I could do, like get Inferno Room and park Orechi in there and just have him survive via reanimate, which is kind of cute. But like, I could power up the Guard of the Unnamed, but that mostly doesn't actually do anything for us. Because, like, if I were building up Frostbite or something, yeah, then having him survive more turns would be more important, but that's not really the case. I could give him, like, a minor bit of attack, and that's okay. I could technically give the Mollusk Mage dualism. I don't really care about that. Is there anything I actually, like, really care about at Merchant of Arms? Like, Echo Vault, maybe. Maybe? Spell Sanctum is also okay. I think I'm willing to, like, fish at the Merchant of Arms. I'm not sure what for exactly, but that's not it. Boiler Room is okay for us, though. Sure. Give me that free extra HP. Technically, I could have taken Bone Dog, but, like, it just doesn't matter that much to me. It's not worth protecting most of the time. Do I want Boiler Room? Kind of. It does give me a bunch of just, like, free Ember. Hello, Ashaga. Thanks for the raid. How you doing, friend? Yeah, I will take that, though we're still going to reroll and maybe take something else. So, I don't really want to use up Inferno Room, but it does mitigate some bad situations for us. Does Boiler Room include enemies? It is. Enemies and allies. Actually, Inferno Room isn't that important as long as I draw the explosive reaction in a timely manner. I think I'm okay without it. Yeah, I think I'm just going to deployable that. I should probably start purging some things, but for the time being, we will do this. You have only 6 HP. I was thinking that you had more for some reason. Well, so be it. We are still going to set up on top floor. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. I'm okay. Going to take a nap before work. Hope the headache disappears. I know that feeling for sure. Good luck with hat trick. Thank you, my friend. It's going okay. I could just put you in front to sacrifice. And I think I might do that. I had misunderstood Bully Room then. That sounds much more useful. Yes, it is. It's again, I think, one of those cards that people overrate. Also, I should have taken the spikes. They basically don't matter for me, but the regen really does not matter for me in the slightest. Anyways, again, I think it's sort of one of those cards that people overrate, but it is quite good. It's just that, like, there is a pretty hefty limit to what you're actually able to do with... Yeah, maybe I should have done this differently. Anyways, there's kind of a hefty limit to what you're able to do with all that extra Ember on a lot of turns in a lot of decks. Fine, I take a little bit of damage from you, whatever, who cares. And there's a big opportunity cost in, like, making it deployable, if you're going to make it deployable, and, you know, the fact that you can only have one room on any given floor, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, don't really want a Retchi in front. I should have played out the Maulus Mage in front of him, but I forgot that this was going to happen. I rate it as nothing at all, so adjusting the rating to situationally useful should help. I mean, it's more than just situationally useful, but yes, I get the point that you were thinking it was worthless, and turns out it is not worthless. Yeah, it's pretty solid. I might have to restart. Well... Okay, since I can kill you with that, we can keep avoiding playing the infusion, which is what we'd like to do. Ideally, we start being able to stack more unstable on Orechi. He does build up on his own, but being able to increase it further is really nice. I do also just inherently get extra Ember now, effectively, since Orechi dies every turn. Okay, unfortunately I have to use this now, but we're still okay because we have 6 Reanimate and we have 117 Unstable, and that represents more than 600 damage all on its own. Plus we're going to do that and do even more damage. Should have done this first, doesn't really matter. Oh well, now he does slightly more damage every time he dies. And there we go! And we easily murder Archeon. Okay, I still haven't mastered Mix-a-Lot just because we haven't played. I just haven't played a whole lot of Lazarus since the update. Anyways, so here's the deal. Tome of Horrors is a fabulous card that we would want on really any of the runs. I think we're gonna try to save Mix-a-Lot for Brewmaster if we can. Either way, it doesn't really help me right now. Kind of. If it were the only interesting card offered here, I might take it. Since we could use it as... Like, I'm doing a lot of mixing currently. And also the Ember cost isn't that big of a deal for me. And so, like, I could use it as a way to just try to get a bunch more Reanimate. It does select randomly, but chances are it would still give me a decent amount of Reanimate. That said, Tome of Horrors is real good. It is particularly good with Reanimator or Retchi, so we're going to take that. It is a bit of a shame to use it up, but it is a good card. So here's the deal. Offering Monument would be best on the Incant path. But it's very unlikely that we're offered it on the Incant path. So we're going to take it now. Because it is still good for us. Just getting extra draw each turn is going to be real good. Also, I do have a bunch of Ember every turn, thanks to the Boiler Room. So we'll have a better time of playing out extra stuff. What made you combo these two clans? Variety of things. So, Secret Ingredient, Orechi's starter card, is secretly basically the best incant card, since it is naturally 2 incants and 1 if you want it to be. You can also spell chain it to make it 4 incants, which is also very good. Overall, there's just a lot of good natural synergy between Lazarus and Stygian, especially if I'm looking at trying to utilize basically the full clan combo, since I have to budget the cards across all 3 runs. Having the Sirens gives me innate scaling, which is very useful. Having Incant Armor as an upgrade is also very solid, so if I kind of use up all of the reanimate options or otherwise whiff on defensive options, I still have a way to be stacking defense, which is really nice. Some of the direct damage spells can work well with unstable buildup, since you can like kill enemies before they have a chance to attack after stacking a bunch of unstable on them. There's just a lot of things that work really well together. And also, again, like one of Orechi's paths is an incant path, so pairing that with like, you know, offering token, offering cards in general, etc., etc., etc. There's just a lot of good things that work well together. I mean, Lazarus pairs well with a lot of clans, so there's a lot of other things I could have taken, but that's definitely what I wanted. Now, in this world, do I care about taking the draw relic? I still kind of do. But I think I'm taking this for now. Yeah, we still want Merchant of Magic. I mean, even more so now that we have Tome of Horrors. So we're doing that. Okay. Already have Boiler Room, don't need the others. Taking Reanimator 2. Okay, so you're gonna get double stack. And I guess we're gonna spell chain you. There's a lot more I'd like to do. Ideally, I'd love to get Remove Consume, but I don't have the gold to reroll, and I think those are good enough for us to take. Intrinsic would also be solid. But anyways, here we go. There we are. Alright, we start off with the correct infusion, and then we just increase our draw and all that. So what's the game plan with Orechi? Because I seem to keep failing with him. You play him as a supportive hero, right? So you're looking for a heavy frontline or something? Nope. I mean, it kind of depends. So, like, Brewmaster is versatile. He's not that impressive in any one direction. Like, he's got pretty decent stats. 75 attack on a free unit is not bad. I mean, like, people like to talk about Architect is good because it's 100 attack. Orechi is most of the way there. While still also doing something else for you. Like, yes, he takes up capacity, whereas technically Architect doesn't. Whatever. Who cares? But anyways, the mixing is good. You can mix for basically whatever you need. Some decks are going to want, like, Sap and Melee Weakness to help chunk down a boss. Or to speed up the Dominion kill. A lot of decks are going to want, like, Reanimate or Damage Shields. I mean, just, you do whatever you do. If you're playing Pyreborn, you can give it, like cooldown reduction, which is great, but it's just a solid kind of decent supported path on its own. Mad Scientist can be your main damage source. You just need to build an Incant deck to fuel it. You don't necessarily need a good frontline, since... And again, you don't actually need a tank unit. Lazarus has a bunch of reanimate sources that you can just turn anything into your frontliner. You can also use whatever defensive tools are in your allied clan. You don't need to take an explicit tank unit to do it, and oftentimes I would rather pair it with something that is more consistently offensive, so you have scaling offense for a boss. Since Mad Scientist is pretty solid at taking out waves, it is less consistent about taking out bosses. And then Reanimator often actually wants to be your frontliner. We'll probably see me transition into that as we go, but it has built-in sustain to some degree, and the self-unstable means that every time he gets hit, it will essentially proc the unstable that's built up on him, which can just kill a lot of enemies before they even have a chance to attack. So he makes a very good frontliner as long as you can keep up with the reanimate that you need to keep him running. But again, he basically lets you scale offense with your defense, which is very strong. And it's nice and consistent. You basically need to be building defense anyways, and now you're rewarded more for doing so. Anyways, there's a lot you can do with Orechi. It mostly depends on a lot of the specifics. Do I want to start doing this? I kind of want to start doing this. Yeah, you're already taking the... I was thinking for some reason that he wasn't losing the reanimate yet. He is anyways, so we'll just make it so he has more reanimate now. Okay. Well, let's start murdering some things. So we shoot our own Orechi and we blow up the entire floor. Seems pretty good. And then we just stack more reanimate on our buddy. And then we'll do this just to get rid of the calcified ember. And so if I had him in front, when if I hadn't already blown up the whole enemies, when this guy attacked into Orechi, it would have procced the 199 unstable and blown up him before he could do the remaining attacks, and it would have killed all the other enemies on the floor. Meaning that I would basically only need one extra reanimate every turn to support clearing every wave. Because he builds up one reanimate anyways every turn, which essentially takes care of the unstable killing him. You stack that unstable so crazy quick. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's because explosive reaction is very good at that. And we double stack Tome of Horrors, which is fabulous as a card. It is one of the best cards in the game. But yeah, so you may notice now that we're kind of just going to murder every wave with little to no problem. And as long as we're stacking up Reanimate, we are also scaling for the boss. I mean, scaling the Unstable is also scaling for the boss, but... Ta-da! Life Mother's Horror Tome would have been hilarious to see. Yeah, would have been real good for us. I always do Reanimator, some kind of backlane sweeper, just put it there and let it passively stack unstable and AoE weak shit. I mean, that is okay too, but it's largely wasting the potential of what it can do for you. It's okay at that, but it's far better if you are stacking Reanimate or, putting Unstable on Orechi yourself. Not Unstable. No, I said that right. Don't mind me as I'm trying to do multiple things at once, and somehow it's not all making sense. But yeah, anyways, lots of things you can do, but here we are. Okay, he is getting sort of low on the reanimate, but that's because we just haven't used our big mix yet. The spikes don't matter. If we had him as our front line, the spikes would technically matter a little bit too. I guess technically I could do the Frozen Lance here for the extra draw, but it doesn't matter. Also, killing those guys early did deprive me of extra Ember, but again, does that matter? Yeah, so he's already almost dead just from exploding Orechi. Just for the sake of it, we now have 9 more reanimate, and he's real dead. And yeah, our tank essentially didn't matter. He got hit like twice at the beginning of the fight or something. It is cute to have both Mixology and Mix-a-Lot here. We are not taking either of them. And we definitely don't need Risky Operation. So. We don't need Frenzied Swarm. We don't need any of these. Glacial Seal's cute with the Cuddle Beard, but we're not going to take it. Mix-a-Lot. Boo. Hey, if we were not doing Hat Trick, I would have taken one of those. But we're doing Hat Trick, and I would very much like to leave those for a run that might actually need it. We're just going here because I just want to dupe my tome, so that's what we're doing. There are obviously things I'd like to see at the Merchant of Trinkets, particularly the mix upgrading things, but that's what we're doing. Like, I could do this. I don't think it super matters to me. I kind of just want to do this. Mainly, it would be that I take Dualism and then I reroll for the Incant Armor, because that's guaranteed to show. And so then I could do Incant Armor on there, and then you get 4 armor per thing. That mostly doesn't matter. And I think it just... You're not really in danger. I think it's maybe still worth doing. Meat Hook is cool. Definitely not taking it here. Pincushion is good, but not here. Yeah, we'll just do this as a bit of safety. I don't really need the guard to be named. I could probably just get rid of him, but here we are. We're definitely doing this. To be much better with some other upgrades. Yeah, I'm still gonna do it like this. We might leak some dudes, but we got what we needed. So let's explode those. Let's do this. And then this is somewhat disappointing, so whatever. Yeah, we'll just play that out so then I get up to 10 draw for the next turn. Because who doesn't like having 10 draw next turn? Alright, look at us go. And so it begins. Yeah, the boiler room was a solid pickup for us. Sure, you can have someone stable. It's honestly not the worst thing to do the blue infusion for him, but I am still just gonna swap to green. Green is definitely the more important one. Like, I'm not having trouble building up unstable. That is not my big issue. My main issue is I just want to make sure that Orechi is not dying. Because if Orechi dies, I die. Sure, we'll just play this. I somehow, like, scrolled away before it did that. Anyways, who cares? Take a little bit of damage. I guess technically I should have played the Frozen Lance top floor. I'll tell you right now, it basically doesn't matter. Unfortunately, it does take a long time to do on my turn just because mixing takes forever. But that's okay. As a first world problem for sure. I just wish that it did the effects faster so I could move on to playing the next one sooner. I'd consider just hitting Orechi again with the explosive reaction, because the extra unstable is good for me, but still. Oh no, it's Quoto. Truly the worst boss ever created. Yep, Orechi's up to 400 reanimate. I somehow think we'll be okay against the Titan skin. Like, even just the current amount of reanimate is representing 800 HP. Or 800 damage, I should say. Also, technically, I don't actually benefit from 10 draw because I'm holding the infusion in hand. So I'm only actually able to get 9 draw. Doesn't matter. Yeah, even as is, I'm most of the way killing him. Yeah, almost there. But yeah, it's not a concern. And no, I don't need to do this. Yes, I should skip it. I'm doing it anyways. All the spikes don't matter. And there we go. And Quoto is dead. Not saying Mixology. Horrify is good, but this is not the run where we need it. And Puffer Flesh is cute. It's not a card I use often. It's cool, but it's a little hard to justify. If it were just a straight-up equipment and not a graft card, it would be way more justifiable. Even as is, it's like good, it's just not that important. Again, the Glacial Seal is cute, but we are going to skip it. Because we just don't need it. Pretty sure we're just going to go here to dupe. It would be nice to go to the Merchant of Magic, but just the guaranteed value of the dupe is pretty strong for us. So, that's what we're going to do. I don't care about Enchanted Chamber. Stasis Crystal doesn't matter. None of those matter. I don't think it's worth me re-rolling. We don't need to heal because we don't take damage. Yeah, let's just thin our deck out. I just don't really think there's any room that I care about getting at this point. Or equipment. Getting Tome of Horrors was the real big, huge pickup for us. I mean, there's a lot of other things that like turned out well beyond that, but that was the major thing we wanted. Though it is a bit of a loss in a hat-trick sense to also be using Explosive Reaction and Forevermore Serum. Anyways, this is Spike Scale, which is fine. I think I still want top floor or at least mid floor. Technically top floor is a little bit of a concern. But I'm I'm not worried about it. I'm going to play this just to maintain taking 0 damage. Instead of doing the much stronger play of playing out the Tome 4s. We'll have plenty of time to play it later. Anyways, the kind of concerns that these guys are gaining a lot of life. But I also should be getting Orechi's damage up pretty quick. Especially with so many Tome 4s in the deck now. And having the holdover explosive reaction means that it's not just 162 damage a turn. It's double that because I get to proc it once mid-turn and at the end of turn as well. Unfortunately, we do have Scourge dudes in this fight, which I did sort of forget about. Luckily, I've got plenty of draw, so I can overcome that. And plenty of Ember as well. It is a pain in the ass, though. Well, don't mind me, as we just have tons of Ember now. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't quite kill you, so we'll just not worry about it. And we'll just keep bullying Kale. And again, I could actually, like, speed up this process by having Orechi in front, so you'd be taking more hits from my Kale. Also, I might want to kill you, so I don't have to deal with your Scourge nonsense next turn. But this way I would avoid the corruption going on Orechi, which doesn't really matter, but I guess I'll do it anyways. And we slowly play out all the cards. Our dude does survive this way, which honestly doesn't really matter or even help us. But still. Kale so nicely shows his face up here again. So we can just outright kill him instead. And then our big infusion doesn't matter, but there we go. Alright, and there we go. Kale's down. That would have been worse for us for sure if he had been damage shields. Still doable, but that would have been worse. I just would have had to set up probably on mid-floor and maybe get a little creative. Hoarfrost Effigy does not help. Electricity Chamber is kind of sort of cute, but so it doesn't help. Spike of the League, I would take, except we're doing Hat Trick, and I would very much like to leave at least some source of reanimate for later runs. We don't need any of this. I maybe take draw just because it helps me with turn 1, basically. Yeah. We'll do that. The Ember's also, like, technically sort of okay. Especially since during the Titan fight, I won't have enemies to slay on, like, turn 1. Or on any turn where Savagery loops around. But, see what we can do. Okay, we're definitely doing Remove Consume. You're going to greedily do Spell Chain, I think. Although Spell Chain here is also good. I think we're going to do that. I think the other one's maybe a little too greedy. And then Intrinsic is what we wanted. And then we just get rid of these. I still have the Ember to play out the Shield Stewards in deployment, so we don't need to worry about that. Yeah, this is sort of what we were afraid of. That's fine. We should be able to make it through. And this is why we took Incant Armor on you. So that we can better withstand problems. Actually, that went faster than I thought it was going to. I already forgot that that is like that. Yeah, that should be fine. I do take 1 damage for the first time in a long time, which feels a little sad, but oh well. We did the main things we need to do, and he does actually die naturally, even without our intervention. I could intervene and kill him if I needed to. And frankly, I probably could have gotten by without taking the damage from the vengeful shard, but like it's okay. The main issue is that we aren't getting ruined by amalgams. Technically, I should have played that first. That would have done more damage. Doesn't matter. And then you're dying to him, and we just continue living our life with just, you know, a casual 561 unstable already. Yeah, we're losing a little bit of reanimate. I think we can handle it. And no, I don't really need to do all the mixing, but it feels wrong not to. Even if I know it is slowing down every turn. And again, if I didn't play out my thing, they would naturally still be dying, because they attack into Orechi, does 672 unstable since he dies. And if that wasn't enough to kill him, every subsequent enemy would still attack into him, proccing it again and again and again. This is why Reanimator Orechi makes a good frontliner. Like, yeah, it's not going to look like this necessarily every time, but even with just like 100 unstable on him, which is pretty doable. Like, there's a lot of ways to achieve that. Like, with even only like 100, it still represents a lot of damage as long as you can just be stacking Reanimate on him. And you don't really need as much Reanimate as it seems like you do, since he does kill a lot of the enemies before they have a chance to attack. And, like, it does kill the sweep units before they have a chance to attack. Okay, I am letting his Reanimate get low, but that's fine. Especially because we're now going into this. Alright, we'll give you a bunch more Reanimate just for the sake of it, though she's super dead. Ta-da! We're not taking any of these. We're not taking any of these. Though the Drain is kind of cute, so we could use it to stop Dominion from hurting our Pyre. And then we're just going here. We have no need for a Merchant of Steel. Honestly, would be better for us to remove the Guard of the Unnamed, but it feels a little cheesy to do that, so I'm not going to. We don't have any equipment, so it doesn't help. Don't have any equipment. Lightstone Casing helps. Yeah. So. I could spell chain that, but I don't think it is going to be that helpful for me. I could do, like, remove consume on this one and then -2 on that, and that's also okay. Yeah, I guess that's what we're going to do. We're going to spell chain the other one. Could also just spell chain the intrinsic one, but I'm not going to do that, I guess. Again, mostly what we're doing here doesn't matter. And I kind of want to do it on that, just to get a bunch of things stacked up. Kind of want to do the Holy Stone just to mitigate how much damage I'm taking. I do kind of wish that I'd left one of these at 3 with the slot open. I'll just take the Holy Stone. It doesn't matter, but it's cute. And we'll do that. It doesn't matter in the slightest. This is going to dupe... Could do the unstable, the explosive reaction. I think we're just gonna do this though. Because I do have the extra ember, right? Yeah, that's fine. We'll do that. I don't know. Who cares? Well, we got rid of all the frozen lances, and my deck is just mixing and unstable now. I guess I'll keep you alive by doing that, because if I put the Guard of the Names in front, he will just die to Seraph beating him in the face. Quite reach enough, which is largely what I expected to happen. Oh, but I have Aquas. I already forgot that I have Aquas when I was considering the Ember needs of my life. Anyways, here we go. 760 damage, turn 1. Not bad. Somehow, I think we'll be able to manage... Oh, sadly, we can't play out the spell chain copy of that one. Anyways, we should be able to deal with all the sap. Some way or another. Okay, so let's get a bunch of unstable. And then we start exploding. Alright. And now we do... you know, let's mix that too. Sure, we'll just do that. Don't need sap if you don't deal attack damage. Yep. Anyways, we do thousands of damage to him. Even just on the end of turn, we do 2,700 because he attacks into us once, the unstable kills us once, and the frostbite that I just applied kills us once. So, yeah, there we go. Again, this is why Reanimator is so good. Like, yes, not always going to look like this. No, that doesn't matter. It's still just a very strong, solid, powerful path. And there are a lot of things that I skipped that could have made this, like, stronger, technically. I'm just going to play that now, so that I am not blocked on card draws. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're super killing Seraph right now. But I just want to be able to play these out first for the sake of it. Ta-da! Building unstable bomb use is very underused for blue mixing too. Yeah, so it is a good use for it. It's just that a lot of the time the other infusions are going to be more valuable for you. But like, yeah, it can work pretty nicely. Even if the amount of unstable per mix is not very high, there's still some good things you can do. Okay. Oops, there we go. Now, technically, I could use some of the Tome of Horrors on my other guys to dodge some of the savagery damage. I don't know that I'm going to worry about that. Okay. Well, already doing a lot of damage to them. Oh no, we get entropied. Sure, I will just do all of that now. Before we then explode some enemies. Sure. I'll just give you some unstable. I kind of wanted to give you melee weakness too, but fine. Yeah, we still do want the extra unstable on you. Doesn't matter a ton when we're getting so much unstable from the Tomes of Horrors, but still. Yeah, let's give me that sweet purple infusion. I mean, I'm taking damage either way since I didn't stop savagery. I could have if I'd like taken the Horrify and just done other things, but I did not do that. Alright, he's down. And you're not down, but you're most of the way there. I probably should have waited till next turn, but I didn't. Oh yeah, and you do take damage because of the trample, which is fine. It is amusing that I can just easily hardcast both it and the spell chain copy. Right. It doesn't matter what color that is. Yeah, I should have held on to the purple infusion so I could have used it this turn to try to get the kill. But whatever. We'll hold on to it now. I mean, I don't actually need to hold on to it now since next turn we're going to have enough damage between the Pyrolite and the normal hit to kill. So I should have used the sap to at least reduce damage a little bit. Oh well. Just for my own enjoyment, here we are. Oh, right. I guess I was underestimating how much. I, for some reason, thought it was closer to like 300 HP. Either way, there we go. It's dead. But, that was Orechi. Turns out Reanimator Orechi is pretty good. I mean, again, obviously, not always going to look like that, but, you know, there's a lot of ways to do things that are similar to that. And if you hit Tome of Horrors is very good. It is easily one of the best cards in the game. Okay, that said, we need to clear out the tracker and then record the new stuff. Don't mind me as I take a moment to do that. No, that doesn't actually help. No, does it? Okay, so there we go. Okay, so we have, this is Reanimator, and it was, why am I blanking on the name of this pyre? Aquath. I just was totally spacing out, but there we go. Which it did sort of end up helping. It wasn't the most helpful, but it was a thing. Anyways, Guard of the Unnamed, which technically mattered. It was decent for us early game, but not particularly useful later, unsurprisingly. Offering Monument was real good for us. And that was it as far as units go. We got by without using too many things on this run. We did use up several of the Forevermore Serum. There we go. I had it right the first time. We did use up a couple of the Reanimate sources, which is scary. And Explosive Reaction is just a solid, versatile card. Even when you're not doing self-unstable build-up, it's just very good at being able to wipe whole waves of enemies, or at least being able to wipe all of the problematic enemies. You can also double stack it, and turns out 50 Reanimate is a lot. But anyways, I think that was all as far as spells go. Because there's the Forevermore Serum, bunch of secret ingredients, a couple explosive reactions, and then a bunch of Tome of Horrors. And then for rooms, we used up Boiler Room. And then no equipment. And that was our deck. It was not a whole lot of things. Again, it is some meaningful hits to lose, Tome of Horrors and particularly Forevermore Serum. But mostly we got out of it pretty clean. So I'm not too unhappy with that. Anyways, that is where we're stopping for the night, because it's basically the time that I stopped. So I will be back tomorrow. We will play more Monster Inn 2. We'll continue the Hat Trick Challenge, which is what we're going to be doing for a ways to come, since we still got a lot of champions to go. Hope you're having fun with it. I'm having a great time. It's a lot of fun. So have a nice night, everyone. I will see you tomorrow. Enjoy your night. Cat, get out of the way.